All right. We are live.
We're live.
This is episode 4 of the One More podcast.
There is a bucket of water
over there.
Over there.
My name is Yuval, and I've got to the left of me Aaron. Do you guys want
What's
to
up,
introduce
guys?
yourselves? Or
Sure.
yeah,
I don't care.
All right. So on my left, I have,
Aaron Reeser. You can call me Aries. I'm just kidding. Fuck it.
and then
Hi, I'm Evan. I've known Yuval since middle school.
Yeah.
I've
Dude
actually
will not leave
known
me
you
alone.
longer, Evan.
Have you?
Yeah,
How did you-
since elementary school.
I never knew you in elementary school.
No, I'd known you.
Maybe you knew me.
I
That's
dreamt
just
about
creepy.
you. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Okay,
I
okay. Fair
dreamt
point.
about you.
Fair point. I'm a pretty dreamy guy. It's
There
all
you
right.
go.
Yeah. Let's go.
And last but not least,
Hi, I'm Keaton. Yep, that's about it. Yep,
That's my story.
That's
and
my
I'm
story.
sticking
Yeah.
to it.
Stick it to it.
I don't know. I've known Evolve for weirdly since like middle school, I guess.
we don't have to talk about when you guys known me. I mean,
Wait.
Well, I just want
I
to add
remember
that.
the first time.
We talking about
Yuval.
Let's talk about the first time. Remember you, Yuval. You
well,
want to talk about that?
No, it's all right.
Let's-
We already talked about it. So
we already
don't
did
have
talk
to.
about it. We can leave that for the bonus content.
All right.
But yeah, so we're just kind of talking about what's going on in our lives
Yeah.
and everything like that. I mean, I guess if you guys really want a topic, throw it out there. I can look through my phone and
Yeah.
potentially pick
Some of the
something.
news
No, like
coming
some
up.
random stuff.
I
Just
mean,
completely random.
like a name. Aaron, can you please silence
Oh
your
my
cell phone?
god!
Aaron, that's very
Jesus
unprofessional.
Christ. We've been here for about a minute and a half.
Not
And
even.
Yeah.
first time.
It's just like a movie theater, dude. Come on.
God, keep
Hey,
on
all
silent.
right. It's not as bad as when we went to my fucking cousin's funeral and there are all these. Okay, this is a black family. I'm sorry, but my black family is out there.
We're going to need to censor
People were not like.
It's whatever. Aaron,
We were-
just letting you know before you continue with the story. This is for the whole world.
Okay,
it's going on.
well,
going live.
People were watching music videos at a funeral.
that. What?
Oh, that's
like-
really bad. Why were they watching music videos at a funeral?
Like, you got to get crunk at
No,
every
seriously,
party, man.
French.
It's not about mourning death. It's about celebrating
We
life.
couldn't mourn Frenchie because people in the back were just being so uncourteous.
Wait. Mourn who?
Frenchie.
Who's Frenchie?
He's my one of the best people in my family. He owned a business. He was totally generous.
Oh wow.
Love this guy.
And just people were just like
People
watching.
were shitting all over him.
Well, like what videos were they watching?
I don't remember. It was some bullshit that I don't care about.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, like if they were like trying to play like somber.
No,
Like,
it wasn't like
it was like obnoxious.
It wasn't. No, it was all obnoxious. It was
Wow.
like almost intentional.
Wow, that's
Raindrop. This is not the right place for that. Drop top.
All right, we're done with that. Done with that topic.
No, I mean, I don't know. I just
No, it was really uncourteous.
the funerals that I've been to. It's just do what?
Talk into the mic.
Oh no, it's fine.
I'm
I
pretty
breathe
loud.
away- I breathe
Yeah,
away
that's
from the
okay.
mic to make sure
Yeah,
it doesn't
we're-
pick up.
We got.
I'm pretty loud,
Yeah, we're
Keaton.
good. Yeah,
Sorry-
no, we're fine.
Sorry, guys.
No, no, it's I haven't perfected it. A buddy of mine bitched and complained about how the audio is really bad. So
I mean, it was how no
did
offense.
how many did you listen to?
I listened to the first one.
Okay.
For like about 20
minutes, and then you were like, nah, this is some dumb
well,
stuff.
No, yeah, actually, well, half of that is.
I mean,
yes,
really, but
no,
whatever.
I watch. I usually listen to podcasts whenever I'm like eating food and driving and shit.
Oh, okay.
So,
So then, as soon as you do other stuff, you're like, okay. put
yeah,
it on.
I turn it off and then I go back to just
go back to normalcy.
I go back to normalcy.
Yeah,
okay.
like
FDR kind of bullshit.
What
FDR.
does that mean?
Return to normalcy. That's totally for FDR.
Like
that
in
was
relation
that
to
was
what?
his phrasing for going back to normal after the war.
Oh, really?
Delano
Yeah.
Roosevelt.
I
didn't even
was
know that
just
was a
talking
thing.
about going back to watching
That's
like
literally
Netflix or something.
that literally
I mean,
became a word with him. Like
Going back to
For real.
normalcy? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I mean, I know
hey,
Abraham
the more
Lincoln.
you know.
yeah, the more you know. Whoa.
Reading
I know
Rainbow.
one of my favorite quotes from Abraham Lincoln. I'm gonna butcher it a little bit, but
Yeah.
it goes.
Don't worry.
We know you are.
It goes. If you don't follow the North or something like that, I'm going to attack you with the North or something like that.
Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham
Lincoln.
Lincoln was like,
Ooh,
if
the
you-
Union.
Michael
you-
Scott.
Oh, dude, I saw
you go.
Michael Scott
I'm-
like from Clark
What?
the other day.
Mr.
No,
Scott.
Yeah,
the
Mr.
actor?
Michael Scott.
I'm sorry, you had to see him again.
I thought he was
Just kidding.
I don't know who that is.
It
It's
was
going
one of
way
our
over my
one of
head.
our band directors
Yeah.
at Clark.
Can we talk?
Oh.
Can we talk about how band?
He had the same birthday as me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
When was that? I'm a horrible person.
With a horrible person. May 7th.
You said 9 months, so
May 7th.
May 7th. May 7th.
May the
Okay.
Wow,
7th
that
be
is
with you.
oddly
May the 7th.
specific.
It was. I mean, it was just. I just remembered it because everyone celebrated his birthday and not mine.
Wait, hold on.
That's hilarious.
Ooh.
Real-
Sorry,
I fucking
that's
hated. I
hilarious.
fucking hated Clark bands so much.
Real
What?
quick, can we?
Okay,
Oh, well,
Mr. Mays is a total asshole. I'm sorry. But
no, he's a
like-
narcissistic piece of fucking.
Yo,
shit.
hold on. He's gonna hear this and he's gonna file a report.
Hey, Mr. hey, listen. Mr.
Not as
Mays-
bad as
Mr. Mays-
Redford.
Mr.
This is
Wait,
slander,
Mays?
everybody.
No,
Relax.
no.
Who
hang
was
on,
worse,
hang on.
Redfern or Mays?
Oh, I like Redfern.
You
Hey,
like
no,
Redfern.
Mr. Mays, if you're
Delete.
actually listening to this, I hope you die in a hole. You're
Wow.
such a
Wow.
fucking piece of
Wait,
shit.
okay, hold on. You're telling these band directors are really horrible, but then you're like, band was like really fun.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah, of
like,
course it
it's-
was.
So
The
it's
people.
Well, see, band
The
isn't,
people.
band
Yeah.
isn't fun because of the people that teach you. Band is fun because of your peers.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
it's
okay.
you have this
It's like a family.
yeah, you have this connection with everyone because everyone's in the same
And you
shit.
see
like
them.
the
It's
directors
all
are
the
like
same
that.
stress.
Like the directors are like that one dad who's like, "Hey, I'm going out for a pack of cigarettes."
Never comes back.
That's
or
what they
or
are.
when they do come back, they're drunk and they're about
Except
to hit you.
Michael Scott
Yeah.
was awesome. I don't know why
Yeah,
I don't
Mr.
like Michael
Scott-
Scott.
Mr.
I mean,
Scott was a
I
great
liked
guy.
Michael Scott.
Wait, his
I just
name was
never-
Michael Scott.
Yeah, no,
His
his
name
name,
was
his
actually
name was
Michael Scott.
literally
His name was
Michael
yeah.
Scott.
But-
yeah.
But-
that was the running
Beautiful.
joke.
Like I
forever.
just never interacted with him. Like
He's a cool dude.
I liked Redfern because we had an interaction and we sort of just knew that okay, this is all bullshit. So let's
Okay.
just have some fun.
Wait.
Yeah, okay. He is kind of like bullshitty, and he is kind of genuine other times. But I hated that guy.
Well,
Like-
hold on. Okay, now I'm curious. Like,
Okay.
I'm the only one here that has not been in band. I did choir in like sixth grade.
Sixth
I
grade.
remember.
because I was just like I didn't.
Back
wanna,
when you had the real curly hair.
dude, I love that.
Dude,
curly
that was
hair.
great.
It's
I
really
miss
good.
your hair,
Good stuff.
dude. It was like
I
the-
miss my hair too. Rest in
like-
peace.
Rip
No,
in
so
peace.
okay, so real quick, go around the table. What instruments do we play? Keaton, what'd you play?
I play what instruments do I play in band or what I play in general?
Band, then in general.
Okay, so in band I played French horn.
Let me guess. You play the guitar in real life,
No, I played
No.
piano for 13 years and then I played bass for
like
2 and
professionally.
Damn.
Like
Uh,
you took classes and stuff.
I took classes for 13 years and then I play
He hasn't played since.
I've been playing a bit of guitar except I recently moved so I didn't take
Sure.
my guitar with me.
I
um,
remember because I don't remember because I think I've been to your house once or twice.
You went to
maybe?
my house once.
Once, and then I remember we played Green Day
Yeah.
rock band. That was really fun.
That was fun.
Oh,
that was
fun.
like at 7 in the morning
Those
too.
days.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was.
Was it really late?
early.
Wow.
Dude.
Wait. Were we up from the previous night, or we
Oh
woke
no,
up early?
you passed out at 11 p.m. or
Oh
something
wow.
like that.
Okay. All right.
And this is like
You've
whenever
like, stop telling these
this
stories
is-
about me.
Stop
Yeah.
it. I look
and this
bad.
This is like whenever
I'm gonna censor all of you.
and this isn't like a hungover wake up thing. We were like fucking 16 or whatever. So
Oh, okay,
none of
yeah.
it- like we were it was
I
just
was
like
super
yeah,
hungover.
no, you were just
Yeah,
you're
obviously,
just like
okay.
oh, it's time for my bed. I'm going to sleep now. And
Are
I'm
you
like,
serious?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Wow,
absolutely.
I was
yeah.
such a tool.
And I was like,
Sorry about
I
that.
was like, okay, dude. Good night, man. and then I wake up at 7 and you're playing that, or you're playing like I think you were playing that Zelda game on the Wii. Not
I,
Oh.
not Breath of-
honestly, well, no, I know not Breath of the Wild, but like I don't remember any of
Wait,
that except
Twilight
for the,
Princess?
what
Was it
Twilight
Twilight
Princess?
Princess?
Twilight. I mean,
don't
it's
know.
the
Is
one
that what happened?
if
with
it's
the
the one
gold?
for the Wii, yeah, that's
Yeah,
Twilight
Twilight
Princess.
Princess.
Yeah, I remember that, and you.
I honestly don't remember that. I just
pretty
remember
fun.
playing Green Day Rock Band.
So wait, hold on. What
Okay.
do you play?
I said I played
Okay, what did you play in band?
French horn.
What do you play now?
French horn, and I don't really play anything right now.
Piano and
Wait,
bass.
hold on. So
Yeah.
if I whip out a piano right now, you can play a little Chopin.
I could play a little. I could play a little bit
a
of.
little.
I could play some Chopin, some Mozart, that sort of stuff. I have
Really?
stuff in my memory, but it'll be shitty.
Oh, okay.
honestly.
That,
You
All
know,
right.
it's like
way
I'll be
better.
right back. I'm gonna go buy.
Let me
I'm
go
gonna
buy-
buy a piano. Right
Actually, I've got a
Okay.
piano in my
Bonus
closet right
feature.
now.
Evan, what'd you play?
In band all throughout middle and high school, I started on clarinet and then played bass clarinet because no one else wanted to.
I remember.
And then I picked up guitar towards the end of high school.
I remember
played,
you doing that.
Yeah, I played a little bit of piano, not enough to, not like Keaton levels of piano. And then now I'm looking at buying a bass, and I want to like start playing bass and maybe do
saw-
like some moonlighting around.
Do I have
Dallas.
an offer for
I saw your
you?
Snapchat where you were like, "Hey,
Yeah,
I
trade guitar and amp for a bass. Yeah.
Is that really an equivalent trade? Is that? Is
It's pretty equivalent. I actually
so.
talked to Tim about it, and he said if I could get a bass, he'd lend me a bass amp to use.
Oh,
Do
really?
you play lefty?
No.
Well, do you want to play a lefty bass?
No.
Are you
Not
sure?
at all. I'm very certain.
I mean, it's just the same. It's just upside down.
I'm good.
You could be that little.
I can barely play righty.
You could
so-
be that. You could be that quirky guy who plays a lefty bass, but you're actually right-handed.
I mean, but everyone,
be-
whenever you look at a bassist,
Is it
you're
Neil
like, oh,
Peart?
hey, it's that quirky
Neil
dude
Peart.
who's not good enough at guitar. Like,
I mean, oh, man.
all right, Aaron, your turn.
All right. When I started out, I had a choice between the lottery for saxophone and euphonium was my second choice. You know what I got?
I don't know what you get.
Euphonium.
Same thing happened to me. It was first choice saxophone, second choice clarinet.
But didn't like everybody want to play saxophone?
No, everyone did.
I wanted to play trumpet. That was my thing.
I either wanted to play flute or saxophone.
Wait,
it was up there.
Flute.
Justin
Nice.
Segler,
I wanted to play
did
Harry
he
Potter.
play-
He played French horn.
Oh, I'm not
And
supposed to
he's-
name drop.
uh,
Oh, and he's also a fucking.
I can't name drop.
okay, so
that certain.
I'm sorry.
I'm not
sorry
going to
to-
give a last name. Nick
Oh,
played saxophone.
Schellenberger?
Yo,
No.
no name
last-
dropping, bro.
Oh,
whoops.
Okay,
Delete
so,
the podcast.
Delete.
So not just to like interrupt. Justin,
You can interrupt me anytime.
Oh,
I'm
dude,
gonna-
Justin was such
he was a
fan.
fucking beast.
Yes.
Oh, dude,
on
his piano.
Oh, yeah.
Like
he has
I could-
like albums and stuff, right?
He was
Yeah,
doing
I
that
don't
in
know, he
elementary
does-
school.
Yeah, I don't
dude.
know. I don't know what he's doing now because I haven't really kept up with a
Me
lot of
neither.
people.
I think he's in Austin.
I know he's at UT. But we had different approaches. So my approach was memorization of music and then being able to just like sort of just repeat it over and over.
Regurgitate
And
it.
over. Yeah, regurgitate it.
Okay.
Mhm.
He had a teacher who was able to teach him how to improv, and I think,
Oh, he was
and I
That's really
regret
good.
not having a teacher that would do that because you could literally like if I can't improv because if I wanted to do something improv I couldn't do it, but he could literally just like, hey, go play something. And he would literally just sit there and play like this fucking masterpiece
Yeah,
that no
it's
one
crazy.
has ever heard of before. And it's like, it's insane.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, it's like those. Sorry, but it's
No,
like
you're
those
good.
two like teaching styles where it's like there's the teaching style where it's like, hey, I learned how to play piano.
yeah.
Whereas with a teacher like, for example, teaching you how to improv, they're not teaching you piano; they're teaching you music.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're
Musical
learning,
theory, yeah.
you're learning the entirety of music theory, and you're just applying that to your instrument. Which is why when he sat down and played French horn, he was awesome at that too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it was already.
Little bitch.
Okay, I can tell you this. I was envious of him when we were in 5th grade because he was so good.
Yeah,
Like,
he was like
He
playing.
was so great.
He was playing piano, and because I'm pretty sure, because I know his dad's
His
an accomplished musician.
yeah,
of some,
he's.
of some
He
caliber.
does
Oh,
like
wow.
sound engineering stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Um,
I've been to his house a few times, and
'Cause,
I know
like,
they
yeah,
had like a separated
He has.
section.
I mean, he literally has. Yeah, it's like he has like a little sound studio in his.
Yeah.
in
That's
his, like in his
awesome.
front
Yeah.
room.
I'm pretty sure he's produced like music.
I'm certain he
Hopefully
has.
he
And
has.
Like if we look up his name,
and I wish the best for him. And it's just
no, I want him
yeah.
to suffer.
No,
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope
We-
he
we
No, I
crashes
mean,
and
like,
burns.
we used to
Okay,
be really
we are
good.
back to the slander.
Yeah, no, we
And
used to
need
be
to
we
relax.
used to be really good friends, and then it was just sort of like a falling out.
Sure.
Like how
Well, I
high
feel like a
schoolers
lot
do.
of-
it's
yeah.
what happens when you get super popular.
Well, I mean, it's
I don't
just
know
what
if he was
happens
ever
in general in
super
high
No,
school.
he was.
That's just what
Oh,
high
yeah, no,
school
he
is
was really-
about.
he
High
was really
school,
popular.
high school is just like the trial
You
run
remember-
for
Are we
real life.
are we talking about popularity right
We're
now?
talking. No,
I don't
No,
know.
let's not
Well,
talk
actually,
about
I
that.
was
No,
gonna-
Yo,
I was
so
gonna
who is the
segue
most
us off into
popular-
something.
What were we gonna
just
segue off of?
regarding?
Wait, hold on, Aaron, but you didn't finish. So you
Oh, yeah,
did
sorry.
Euphonium?
Yeah,
we
I'm sorry.
interrupted
Yeah.
you.
Euphonium, and then I coaxed my grandparents into buying me a keyboard, but you know what? It was probably left over from wanting to be like Justin, so I never actually played it. I played it like I know how to play Smoke on the Water on
That was because Omar and I jammed out on that. That's the one that you had in the meteor area.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
okay. It was a dope. It was a
Then-
pretty dope piano.
I
You got
wanted a
keyboard,
guitar
didn't you?
because I was
Do I?
so into Rock Band that
Oh, yeah. We were all in Rock Band.
we
Or
were
at least
so
I
into
was
Rock
in
Band.
Yeah.
I wanted
Bro,
to
let's play
play a
some
real
right now.
guitar. I wanted to play a real guitar. And I
Yeah, of
never-
course.
And you got really into it. You've all.
Just regular guitar or just rock band? Because I got really,
both.
really into rock
You
band.
got
yeah,
really
I
into
know.
guitar.
Yeah,
Playing drums on expert, but failing so
Oh,
horribly.
man.
that was.
Oh, and
yeah.
so did my cousin. He's always played like Puff the Magic Dragon on his guitar.
I don't know.
That reminds
how
me
does
of
that
a dude I work with. First name Casey. I'm not going to disclose the last name.
Sure, that's
for,
good.
HIPAA.
I don't know. It's just
Yeah, no, it's just one of
Zach-
the. It's
Zach told me
it's
not
a
to
respectful
disclose.
thing
Yeah.
to not name.
No, but okay,
drop.
if you're
I mean,
gonna
we're
play
not that popular that people
Yeah.
are gonna be like, oh, we're gonna.
But,
do
this
whatever.
dude-
Jay, so
This dude Casey, I met him maybe a year and a half ago when I started there. I actually trained in the same group as him. But the dude played like a shit ton of rock band, like
Yeah.
to the point where he's like, doing everything expert, perfect.
Yeah.
And then one day he's just like, "Hey, I'm gonna buy a real drum set."
Why
There
not?
you go.
And
It's to me the same thing.
the dude's like actually
Really
really
good.
good at it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
like we went to a Guitar Center because I was shopping around for basses, and
God, Evan with the bass story again. Gotta
Yeah,
always
right? And
incorporate it into this.
and he was just like, I'm gonna sit down and mess around on the drums. I was like, okay, you do you. And I'm like,
What?
just watching him, and I was like, dude,
Yeah.
what the heck is going on? This dude was crazy.
Oh, that. Sorry.
Did I ever tell you the story about
My bad. I'm
how
sorry.
my mom bought a drum set? without me
Non-
knowing.
without even
Like just for
telling you?
herself or for
No,
you?
no, for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a sort of. So my mom does a lot of estate sale shopping.
Sure.
Okay.
She actually finds a lot of really good stuff with it.
Estate
I've always
sales are
wanted.
great for
I've
that.
always wanted to go to one of those.
But back.
Does she do like flipping and whatnot, where she'll go and buy
No,
stuff
she
and
usually
resell
she
it,
picks
or-
stuff that she wants to keep. She has
Okay,
like
okay.
a bunch of antique stuff that she really enjoys, and it's
Gotcha.
a lot of my stuff that I have in my apartment now is really just from her finds. But like for example, like I have vintage sidetrack. I have a bunch of vintage Olympic posters, like from 1920.
Are you
that's
serious?
cool. Yeah.
Oh
Wow,
wait,
that's
so
really
you
dope.
have Bruce back when he was Bruce.
No. Like
This
no,
wasn't in
it's,
the Olympics until like
no,
the
this is
70s,
like,
right?
Yeah, no, this is like lithographic prints
Yeah.
of like Rome and London and
Wow.
like that sort of
Nice.
stuff. And it
That's
was
awesome.
really cool. I even have one that's the 1972, I think, Munich. I have
Oh,
that
really?
one. Yeah.
Wait,
Wow.
Munich.
Munich. The one.
Munich.
that-
Germany.
Yeah, the one that.
I don't know what a eunuch is.
Uh,
That's where you can't have
Switch
sex.
in your cost cast.
But anyways, so I was in high school. I was in something called.
Hold on. Okay, go ahead. I have to ask
Okay.
a question after you're done.
Okay. So in high school, I was in something called GDYO, which was like this orchestra thing that I
Greater
did.
Dallas Youth Orchestra.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed doing that.
Were you in that, Evan?
No.
No,
But
but
how do you know?
was,
How do you know the
didn't care
acronym?
enough.
But I was.
How do you know the-
Oh,
how do you know
that
the
was
acronym?
Oh, because I was
that was
in,
the joint thing, right?
I was in the wind
What?
ensemble at Plano Senior High School, and basically everybody that was anybody was
Yeah.
in.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so it's like a
GDYO.
sort of thing like if you're good in band or
Uh-huh.
you're good in orchestra, you would go to GDYO.
Okay.
and
you get better.
Yeah, and you get better.
Tell
And,
me other acronyms.
TLAs. Americans love TLAs.
What is
Three-letter acronyms.
Oh,
I'm a
three-
big fan of my TLAs.
This
Kid,
kid.
the CIA,
anyways,
the
I was-
FBI, the TLA.
It was
you know.
literally
Yeah.
it was literally in the middle of just like a rehearsal,
Mhm.
and my mom starts texting me, and like I'm not answering my phone because
Sure.
I'm like in the middle of rehearsal.
You're rehearsing. Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm just like that, and then we
you
get
French
to
on the horn.
it'd be really rude
Yeah.
to have your phone go off when
Yeah.
you're trying to do something
and then-
professional.
Oh, I know, right?
and then we get to the end, and my dad picks me up, and it's like we're driving home, and I start looking at the text, and it's like, "Hey, I'm at an estate sale. Hey, I see this drum set," and I'm like, and so I stopped there. I'm just like, okay, I never said I was never interested in the drums. It's like,
Sure.
I was like, do you want it? This and that. It was like next one. It's like, I bought the drum set. so it's like that, and then I call her and I'm like, hey mom, thanks, but I don't really want a drum set. I was like, oh well, it's too late now, and I'm like, oh
You're
okay.
like, what?
I did.
Quick
didn't
question:
proof.
How much did you pay for it? It's like, oh well, it was half off, so I got a really good deal on it. It's like, well, you didn't really answer
The question at hand.
It's like, oh, it was $400.
Oh my
What
god!
the fuck, mom?
Mom!
It actually came out to a good story that we sold the drum set.
For
Oh.
500. Boom.
No,
Oh,
4
just
years
kidding.
later for 600.
Oh, nice.
Hey!
Wow!
It was
In
actually
it for the long
honestly, it was
con.
actually a really good drum set. Like they had Zildjian cymbals that were
Oh,
really
nice.
clean. And
Over my head. I don't know what that means.
and it's like
It's like the brand for cymbals.
Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
For like a decent
and they
price
had
and
like
good quality.
and they had
Uh-huh.
like 6 extras in a case. And it was
That's awesome.
actually really wasn't that bad.
Wow.
Anyways,
Speaking of, I'm sorry,
really
go ahead.
jealous.
Go ahead.
that's it.
No,
Okay.
speaking of speaking.
I was saying
Speaking
anyways.
of drums,
Yeah.
I'm moving on to a movie topic. Has anyone
Okay.
seen the movie Whiplash?
No,
I
I
have, yes.
my
You
friend
played the game.
No, that's
Play the
not
game.
what I'm
I don't know
talking
what
about.
the-
no,
you're
we're talking
talking
about
about.
Whiplash is a movie about a jazz drummer.
Fuck,
Oh.
that
Yeah.
is such a
Um,
good. That is such
yeah,
a good.
have you ever seen it?
If Blake was here, he'd have like a lot to spew.
Yeah,
I've never seen it. I know
okay,
it's,
well,
it's the guy
um,
who.
I have it on Blu-ray. We'll watch it sometime. It's
Yeah,
a fantastic
I've
movie.
seen it
It
two or
has
three
J.K.
times.
Simmons in it. He's
J.K.
the-
Simmons in
the
that. and-
Peter
the-
Parker
yeah, he's-
boss guy.
Yeah. He's
J.K.
the,
Simmons-
Oh,
Give me your Spider-Man.
oh my god!
Yeah.
I want a
I need pictures of
And
Spider-Man.
There's also who's the new he was the Mr. Fantastic in the
I
Fantastic Four that
don't
failed.
know his name.
Miles
Benedict
Turner.
Cumberbatch?
Miles Turner.
Yeah,
Miles
yeah,
Turner.
yeah.
He's also in it, and he's fucking amazing.
Wait,
in it.
Benedict Cumberbatch is Doctor Strange, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Benedict.
No, he's also
Cumberbatch.
Sherlock.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Sherlock, the Lizard Man.
So you just wanted to name drop that you.
Well, I just wanted to.
watched
I,
it.
I thought that.
So, like,
I'm a
that you may have
sophisticated-
This
seen
could,
it.
Oh, look
this
at
could
me.
just
No,
become
no.
this could just become a 2-person podcast. And we can just
Oh,
talk about
yeah, yeah. You guys
I mean,
just
I'll
get
just
out of the
I'll
room.
unplug.
guys-
Yeah, we'll
I'll
just-
go.
yeah, unplug.
No,
Talk
I
about
was
what-
just mentioning it because we were talking about a little bit earlier. We were talking about band directors we didn't
Sure.
quite like, and just as a basic.
Well, I know,
uh,
I know what kind of
You've
guy
seen-
he was a
Have
hard
you
ass.
seen?
seen-
Have you seen the?
Was I rushing or dragging? Like, you've
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
some
I've
of
seen
those-
that.
Yeah,
yeah.
so that's the scene that the movie's known for. Is
Let's
the
give some context
am
on what.
or were you rushing or were you
So,
dragging? So
let's-
basically,
Yeah.
Yeah, as a little bit of just backstory for this movie, it's this kid. I forgot the kid's name in the movie.
Wow, and you say you bought it on Blu-ray?
By acted by Miles Turner, who gets accepted into the Schaefer Conservatorium for music.
Basically,
which
like
I believe is fictional.
Yeah, it's basically.
Yeah,
I think
it
it's
is,
sort of an
yeah.
allegory to like Juilliard.
So like Juilliard or Berkeley
sure.
or something.
Or yeah,
like
so
that.
like Berkeley School of Music, Juilliard School of Music, that sort of stuff.
So it's this, it's the most high class school in the country and all this.
Yeah.
And it's known for having a instructor that is not only a hard ass, but downright abusive to his students. Because,
Right.
and without spoiling anything, the instructor, as you learn later in the movie, once again, it's not a spoiler, it's just kind of his mindset.
Mhm.
He's obsessed with Charlie Parker, who is a saxophone player from back when
Like
jazz was the music.
like
Yeah,
like Dizzy Gillespie.
Yeah, yeah, and so
Miles
they're
Davis
talking
era.
about this Charlie Parker and this drummer Buddy Rich, and basically he explains to the drum student. He basically says, "Okay, so there's, back when the first time Charlie Parker rehearsed with this band, someone threw a cymbal at him, and he was
What?
embarrassed."
Yeah.
He went home and cried himself to sleep that night. He was so embarrassed. He didn't know his part and all that.
Bitch.
And so because of that abuse, so to speak, he
Yeah.
pushed himself and eventually became one of the greatest musicians of our time.
Sure.
Nice.
And so the
Is
instructor,
this like a real guy or like
that,
fictional?
that's a real guy.
guy.
That's a
Okay.
real guy.
Real guy.
Okay. He's known as the Bird. Is his
Okay,
name.
sure. I don't know.
Bird.
And
Not that one.
so
Wrong
this
bird.
this instructor takes that to heart and treats all of his students that way.
yeah, like
So, like, for example, that rushing and dragging scene that you've
Yeah.
probably seen on YouTube, that's
Yeah.
not him joking around.
Yeah.
Like, he's actually, like,
or like
he's not a playful guy. He's
Yeah.
not a nice guy. Right in the beginning of the movie, he asks the kid, he goes, "Hey, so what do your parents do?" And he goes, "Oh, well, my dad's a writer and my mom's not around."
Right.
And so in that scene where he is the whole rushing and dragging scene, he goes, "Well, no wonder your mommy fucking walked out on you."
Wow.
Because you're nothing. And he's like,
Wow.
and daddy's just a burnt out writer who's not going to make any money. And
Yeah.
like, he's like literally emotionally abusing this kid, throws
Yeah.
a chair at him, attempts to physically abuse this kid.
Yeah.
I mean, he's literally slaps
And so,
them, it's like
this whole movie, while it's a very good movie with very good music, and there are some humorous moments, it's like this spiraling downwards tale of this kid who's trying to be the best
Sure.
and just continually, like, there's a whole scene of him locked in a practice room
Yeah.
just practicing.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude literally has a jug of ice water and he's just practicing this really high tempo upswing, and it just cuts to a scene of like his hands. He's been in there for like hours, and like
Yeah.
he gets so mad he like punches a hole in the fucking snare drum.
Wow.
he's bleeding
And
he's-
it shows, and his hand is covered in blood, and he like dunks it in the ice water, and it's
Wow.
it's a really
very good movie.
It's not-
It's kind of the best way I like to describe it is it feels like you're watching a war movie,
yeah,
but it's not a war movie.
What people
Okay,
go
but-
into it thinking that it's like, oh, it's like this, like almost like Drumline. Have you ever seen Drumline?
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's like this fun little like, oh,
Yeah,
it's
you know,
about music and that
Drumline's
sort of
fun,
stuff.
yeah,
But
it's
it's,
just
but it's
music.
But it's
really
actually not.
it's really just a character piece between Miles Turner and
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. Thank
Well,
you.
okay, now hold on. My only question is before we even potentially watch this movie, is it a happy ending or a sad ending?
That can be taken one of two
It can be
ways.
taken one
Oh,
of two
you
ways.
can
yeah.
interpret it differently?
Let's not.
Well, yeah, without any spoilers, when you watch it, it is quite possibly one of the most exciting moments in a movie I've
so
seen.
as a cinematography thing, it's made by the same person who did La La Land.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Same cinematographer did La La Land. What's the
I don't know, Keaton. You're on your own here.
what's the one with Mark Zuckerberg?
The Social Network.
Social Network. He also did social, like the cinematographer, not the director.
Sure,
but
sure,
the
sure.
yeah, the
cinematographer,
cinematography in the final scene is fantastic.
Okay.
The final scene is very high energy, kind of leaves you on your toes because it's
Well, so hold on. So then, am I gonna leave this movie like depressed as hell, or
You're
like
gonna-
I'm gonna
it
be like, wow,
depends
that was
on-
really
It depends on
inspirational?
it depends
Well,
on how you feel. I mean, not really.
for
how you
me,
feel,
it
but-
was like right when the movie ended because it has one of those like just like cut to black endings right
Yeah.
after the final thing happens.
Yeah.
So there's no more dialogue at that point. There's like 10 minutes of something happening and then done.
Yeah.
Whenever I first did that, I like stood up, like I was over at Evan Smith's house, we were watching it on the couch. I like stood up and I was like, oh my god, that movie was amazing. And then later that night I was thinking about it and I was like, wait a second, like the ending was good.
Mhm.
If you look at the rest of the movie, the ending was good. It was what you wanted to happen,
Mhm.
but at the same time, there's a lot of things in the background that you can interpret differently that kind of fuck with you if you think about it a lot.
Okay.
But I mean, we save that for another day. We can watch that
just
sometime all together.
Yeah. We'll have a hour long or a 2 hour long Whiplash watching podcast
reaction.
Party.
Yeah.
Reaction, live reaction.
Hey, let's do it. That'd be fun.
Commentary.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds like a really dope movie. I
mean, it's really great. I'd highly recommend it. It actually topped Pulp Fiction as my favorite movie the first time I watched it.
Wait, it topped it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's saying a lot because Pulp Fiction's one of my my second favorite movie now.
I'm not too much of a fan of Pulp Fiction, but
you don't like Pulp Fiction? Why don't you like Pulp Fiction? What's wrong with it?
No, it's not like
you don't like Quentin Tarantino.
No, it's not like I don't like it. It's just that I'm just not.
Got him.
I'm not as enthralled as some other people are with.
Well, so like, what kind of genre do you like? Was it just the genre, like the action?
No, I enjoy it. No, like I'm not saying I didn't. I'm not saying I
I
didn't enjoy it, and I enjoy a lot. Like Inglourious Basterds is one of my favorite movies.
Does he look
like a bitch?
But it's like it's that sort of stuff. Like
Why'd you try to
it's
fuck
the referential stuff that you get nowadays, where it's it's almost
mainstream.
Oh no, it's not. I'm not saying that it's bad to be mainstream, but I'm not trying to be like a fucking hipster here. But
sounds like you're a hipster.
I sound like
it's okay. We can all be hipsters here.
No, but it's the sort of thing where it's like.
I mean, Evan just talked about Whiplash for like.
I need to get my scarf.
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
But it's that sort of thing where you have this media that comes into like the mainstream, and it becomes to me it feels like it's degrading its personal.
Yeah,
because you don't really you don't hear people talk about Inglorious at most for Inglourious Basterds you hear like very few things. You hear like Nazis and that sort of
exactly
stuff. Like that's as much as you hear. Or with Kill Bill, you rarely hear.
I've never seen Kill Bill.
Pussy Wagon.
Really
yeah, no, like you barely hear stuff about it. Or whenever you like, it's like
so
all these
indie.
other movies that I love about Quentin Tarantino because they're not. It's because once you hear it enough time, like you hear, oh, he looks like a bitch, or like that sort of like all these little things.
Or like that is a tasty burger.
Yeah, or like.
Oh, Good Burger?
Like what say what again? Like that sort of stuff. Like it just feels like it's just making the movie feel a little bit less fun to me.
That brings up a good point.
No, Good
about,
Burger's like
sorry, go ahead.
Good Burger's like if you brought Karate
What is
Kid.
Good Burger?
You've seen Good
It's
Burger.
another movie. It's with
Welcome to Good Burger.
Oh,
Home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? Yeah.
Okay,
It's like
I've seen
Karate
it.
Kid beats like.
What are you talking about? This is not even close to Karate Kid.
No, it's Karate Kid meets McDonald's.
Karate Kid was
You said you had a
amazing.
point.
I was gonna make a point about the whole mainstream thing you were talking about because it's like there are so many like gems, whether it's in I guess music, movies, TV, that and it kind of brings me on to the point of like fandoms.
Sure.
How there are a lot of like TV shows and stuff that like even like Rick and Morty as a recent example.
Right.
Dude,
like it's a great show.
Yeah.
It's a
But
very
it's a
smart show, but like whenever I see people running around going, "I'm Pickle Rick," it's like okay, hold on, relax. Like
So that degrades the
Yeah.
experience for
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
and,
feels
and,
like-
and it's
hold
like
on.
I try to stay out of it, but I do think that it degrades the experience because
Okay.
for anyone who's looking
Yeah.
into it and
looks
wants and
stupid,
says,
yeah.
"Hey, I want to watch Rick and
But it's
Morty,"
the sort of thing where
they're
it's
going to
like,
see these idiot
Hold
fanboys
on,
and they're
yeah.
going to be like, "No, that doesn't quite."
Okay,
I
I
don't wanna
saw a
get in that."
fanboy who was doing it right. He had a Corvette. It was blue, and his license
Mr.
plate said
Meeseeks.
Meeseeks.
Yeah, see,
It
like
was
that's
good.
that's just like a rich dude who likes the show, and he's
Yeah.
like, "I'm just going to make this joke," and so it's an inside joke. Anyone who sees it might get it,
But it's
as opposed to running around, screaming "Pickle Rick!"
I mean, it's the
Tiny
same-
Rick!
But that's it's good though.
Right,
The
no,
whole
but-
point is
no, but it's the same. thing
that's
that
why it's
happens-
popular.
It's the same thing that happened with. It's like the same cycle that happened with Doctor Who.
Okay, no, hold on.
Like you
Before
were
we get there,
okay
we got to think about the bell curve.
in terms of statistics.
Of intelligence.
What, Dick?
You're gonna have a lot of fans that are not in the high range.
Well, let's not bring like intelligence.
Yeah,
and
but
Alright.
it's
stuff like that,
so it's like
but-
the same thing that happened with like people who are Doctor Who fans. And
Yes.
again, I used to be a Doctor Who fan.
I used
Like
to be too.
I
really,
stopped after they replaced Matt Smith.
Yeah.
but it's that sort of thing.
Capaldi lost me. I don't know why.
No, but it's the sort of thing where you have this huge fan base who really can only identify with one thing in Doctor Who is that they like Doctor Who, and that's what they revolve their life around.
I mean,
And
isn't that the whole point of a fan base?
Yeah, no, but
No,
it's the sort of thing where it's like you have these fans who are just like I can be a fan of Doctor Who or I can be a fan of Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm
It's
not
not your
making
life.
I'm not making my life. I'm not going
Exactly.
around with a
Oh,
TARDIS
okay.
mug wearing a scarf
Sure.
talking
Well,
about
I mean,
custard.
it's okay to have the memorabilia and that, but
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
no,
like,
but
like
it's
but
a sort-
exactly what you were just saying before I
Exactly, it's
interrupted
too
you.
much.
I'm sorry,
because it's the sort of
But-
thing where it's like I have this. I know.
Yeah.
I've known people who are like who they will literally refer everything. It's like, oh, this reminds me of this time
Wait.
back on Doctor Who. I'm
Okay.
like, okay, well, just like
Hold on, let's bring it back for
Okay.
a second. So you guys were all in band. So
Yeah.
how much of your life did you talk about band and all that kind
Not
of
very
stuff?
much. It's funny
But
because
see, I think
after it ended, it's like
think-
Well, no,
After-
like while you were in
Yeah.
band.
Oh yeah,
and stuff,
all the
absolutely.
time.
Because
That
was your whole life.
that was our life experience. Because that's
Right.
what we did for the majority of our day. But
Well, can't use the same people who love Doctor Who or whatever show if that's the show that they're watching on repeat.
It's-
no, I'm okay.
I think it's different.
So I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to revolve your life around, but I'm going back to the thing that, like, same thing with Pulp Fiction. It was the fan base that started making me feel less enjoy. Like, I didn't enjoy it as much after
that's external factors impacting your own, because like the Office, I've seen the show like a bazillion million times, and like I've you go to certain threads or subreddits or whatever like that,
yeah.
and it's just people do what they do, but that's not gonna. I haven't, and I'm not trying to like bash
Yeah, no,
on
I
you,
know.
but
I
don't let that ruin my enjoyment of the show.
it's absolutely different for everyone. It's just like it's my sort of thing where it's just, I mean, it's not. It doesn't degrade the fact that I think it's still a good show, and
Right.
I still enjoy watching it, but it's changed from like, oh man, that was so good, or that was one of my favorite shows, to now, yeah, it's an okay show.
Well,
fan base is a little bit weird, but
So, does that also impact other areas of your life? Not necessarily of media entertainment, but like if you like eating a certain like Olive Burger, like if all of a sudden Olive Burger now becomes really crowded and essentially becomes like the
I won't go there anymore because I don't want
okay.
to have to wait in line. But
And that brings
that's a
another
totally different point.
another
That's
point.
when it gets marginalized and everything gets worse. It's when it gets too popular. Things
Exactly.
start
That's
to
where I
just
was
be
going.
shit.
Because what, like, for example, for Rick and Morty season 2, that ended, and then we didn't get season 3 for
For a
a
while.
little bit over a year, I think.
Yeah,
It
and there
was
was
2 years. It was
there
2
was so
years.
much
It was- okay,
conspiracies
2
about
years.
it too. Where it's
And
like,
it was-
is it happening?
Like, to the point where it's like you can jump on the Rick and Morty subreddit,
right.
and it's terrible. Like, it's like
Whoa.
What now
there
or
are-
then?
No, then.
Then.
During the gap between
Now
season
it's
2
still
and
pretty
3,
bad.
it's like people are becoming so obsessed with it, they're making
they were
it their
super
life
obsessed.
to where it's like they're
Like the Half-Life 3
They were
they're
confirmed.
studying.
yeah, exactly. They're basically harassing the creator of the show or the game or whatever because they don't have any more content to play, watch, listen to, or whatever.
Exactly.
And it's like, I think that's where it becomes toxic. That's
Yeah.
where fandoms become toxic, is where you're starting to, there's so many people, the creators get pressured, and then because of that, and this is only for certain cases, they make less than quality content, which
Exactly.
then ruins said show, said band.
Well,
or it goes into
Doctor
the other
Who.
spectrum where they start to overanalyze it way too much.
Yes, where people just get really, really
Like-
happy on their TV show conspiracy theories.
Yeah, it's like,
and they're like,
you
well,
know,
hold on,
this isn't actually the real like it's like this isn't actually the real Rick, but
Yeah.
it could be like a bunch of.
Is that gonna? Do you think that always happens, or is it only with such like like what we were talking, like such gems or hiddens that are really good and is the smart humor and is very
Yeah.
relatable and then when there is that lack of content, do you think it'll always degrade to that, or is it just specific instances where
I
Rick
feel
and
like-
Morty, Half-Life 3, whatever,
Futurama.
Well, I feel like it's a sort of thing that as time goes on, the main point that you had whenever you were a fandom of it, it's devolved so much into something completely different that it's just sort of it's no longer like, for example, you can, let's say for the show Westworld, which had a lot of theories on it.
I heard a lot of good stuff about
and I
Westworld.
extremely enjoyed that show. It was
that's HBO, right?
yeah, HBO. It's honestly one of my favorite shows that I
It's-
watched last year.
Season 2's coming.
Season 2 is coming out next year, and I'm
Next
really
year,
excited
okay,
for
right.
it. But it's like, say, like, instead of them giving us a date for when it was coming out, Westworld, it was like, you know, oh, we don't know if it's coming back, and they left it at a pretty ambiguous ending. And
Oh, really?
like, yeah, won't ever go into spoilers, but they left it at an ambiguous ending where it's like, oh, you don't know what's going to happen to the people, to the characters. If they didn't announce a season 2, from what it would change to, it would probably
gone ballistic.
well, yeah, it would have been a sort of thing where it's the same thing with like Rick and Morty, where it would have devolved from, instead of it like, oh, Dolores is X, Dolores is Y, like that sort of stuff, to then like absolute.
Well, did they? Well, because then my question would, because like with shows like Rick and Morty, I think each season, at least from season 1 and 2, from what I remember, I'd have to like rewatch it. It was pretty closed. It was done. The season was over. They may have left a few plot lines that they could
season
continue
1 was
down.
very concise.
The only thing from season 2 that could be considered a cliffhanger is Rick going to jail. That's
Right.
No,
That-
okay. What
right.
about Mr. Creepy Butthole?
That's
Okay,
not,
well,
Where the hell is
I
he
think-
from?
I think
Where the
that-
hell
that
is he?
was a one-shot episode thing. It will come back, but that's going to be Rick and Morty is at a point now where it's more of an overarching story.
Yeah.
Sure.
And where they do have those episodes where they're just going to throw in the fun characters, like the episode with Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Well, okay, hold on. I just a quick opinion from you guys.
Yeah,
Do you guys like episodic TV shows, or do you want something with a story arc?
If you look,
I like stuff with story arcs.
If you look at Doctor Who and how it actually expands on everything, Bad Wolf is one of the favorite things. My most favorite.
That was
part
with
of Doctor Who.
But
then
that was before.
but that was
Christopher.
Yeah,
Columbus,
that was
Eccleston.
Yeah.
that was the
Christopher
beginning though, and I watched it a second time, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it wasn't as good. So sometimes it's like the episodic while you're experiencing it the first time is better than it would be if it's like
I think
multiple times watching an episode. It doesn't matter if you see the beginning and the end. Like,
so. Don't see
I'm
if I'm misinterpreting you.
Sure, go
but
ahead.
I think what you've all meant was like, do you enjoy episode by episode content or overarching stories? Because
Because like with South Park, the best example is South Park.
Yeah.
So like probably the first 1 through 15, the seasons 1 through
yeah.
15, you could just pick up an episode.
And
Okay,
you'd be
just do it.
exactly in it. You
Yes.
know it. Yeah,
Yeah.
There's no.
Pretty-
You can
Kenny's
watch any
dead,
of it
and
and it
it's
makes
like-
sense.
Yeah.
specific. Like I think
So-
Family Guy. It's like
Yeah.
everything
Fuck this
resets.
shit. Yeah.
Everything resets,
Yeah.
and you can go
the
back
way
to normal.
the way I feel Doctor Who sort of went, it started out as an overarching story,
Yeah.
and then it slowly devolved to episodic. And I really enjoyed it whenever it was overarching. So I love huge overarching story. See, now it's your problem, Paul.
It's my laptop. My bad.
You just aired
That wasn't
it,
even
you
loud
fucker.
enough to get caught. And you had to mention it.
I am not a verb. I just made you a verb.
Fuck you.
But it's like it's the reason why I really enjoy like anime and stuff. It's like because almost everything has because the way anime is it's
I
12
know how
episodes.
anime is.
So, well, for people who are living under a rock, for
Everybody knows
Yeah.
what
Right.
anime
well,
is.
it's 12 episodes, and it's rare you get a second
Sure.
season. So
Nani?
they need to make 12 episodes into this one huge story with a good beginning, middle, conflict, and end. And they have that down to a fucking T. And it's
Right.
the thing that I love, because you can have an over-encapsulating story in 6 hours.
Sure.
It's just watching it, like binge watching it, and you get this. You get this story that makes you, makes you laugh, makes you cry, makes you think about things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. But
Well,
it's-
so because I think with that you have those kinds of stories, and I don't know if we can attribute this to like Japanese culture or whatever it is,
Right,
but
right.
a lot of those shows, it's planned from the begining. Everything that happens was already pre-planned
well,
before.
a lot of it comes from adaptations of light novels, mangas, and it's never how it is.
Well, even then, like if you're writing a book, you need to have a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
with like TV shows, I think they have we want to go this direction, but each week, all the writers are thinking, okay, what's going to happen? All right, well, where can we go from this episode? And I don't think they plan. Now, aside from whatever shows that I can't think of right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only one that didn't really do that was Breaking Bad, because they were like, okay, we have
Oh my God.
we're going to be here for one season. Let's make the first season concise.
Really.
Mhm.
And then from there they got renewed and renewed.
And then they were
Really?
like, yeah. And actually, just a funny tidbit about Breaking Bad: Jesse Pinkman
Yeah.
So-
was intended to die by the 3rd episode.
Really? Wow.
Yes,
I mean, I can
absolutely.
see it. He is pretty.
He was
throwaway.
supposed to be just a one-shot character that originally got Walter White into the world of cooking meth.
Almost
Yeah.
like the Tuco guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was supposed to just be a one-shot character, and
So
then,
he was just well received, and everyone was like,
yeah, and then just like a lot of big TV shows nowadays, the pilot comes out and people are like, okay, it's decent.
Uh-huh.
It caught me definitely, but
Sure.
it's
First pilot, the
It
pilot
le-
absolutely caught me.
yeah, and then they move on to like the second or third episode, and by the third episode, they're dousing a guy in acid in a bathtub, and it's like at that point everyone gets hooked,
Mhm.
and everyone's like, wow, Jesse Pinkman's a great character. I really like the emotion he shows,
The dichotomy
And
between
the dichotomy between Mr. Science Teacher and Mr. Hey, I used to cook meth on the street, Mr. Chili P, get my chili powder in the meth,
Mhm.
and then they ended up keeping him for that reason because they had such good chemistry on set.
real
I
quick,
don't know how he went so by the book teacher. I'm good with people, and then he suddenly becomes a jerk. Like that part.
Walter
kinda-
White?
I think
well,
he just
did
I think
that happen
it's-
over time?
it was-
Because, I mean, originally,
No, he was a jerk
No,
to
so-
Pinkman from the beginning.
Well, okay, he was a jerk to Pinkman because of preconceived notions that Pinkman was a bad student and therefore
Okay.
a bad person.
right.
Otherwise, Walter was a great husband. He was a great dad. I mean,
The sto-
he tried
yeah.
his best to be a decent
The-
person, and it was only once he really realized, oh, hey, I'm dying of lung
And nothing
cancer,
gives no
and
shits.
and like at this point, all I have to do is try to make money for my family.
The story,
and then from there, he became an asshole.
Yeah, the story of Walter White really, like the story of like Breaking Bad is really just the downfall of Walter White, and it's like that.
Well, okay, now you're talking about this, and it just randomly popped up in my head. So, what do you guys think about like reboots or extensions of stories?
So like Better Call Saul.
Oh, that was so good.
Well, I feel like that was an off
depressing as
tangent.
fuck.
Like,
Okay.
you had to care. I'm talking about like, and I don't know if this is a good example, but you have Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I feel like they close the story.
Oh,
Whatever
yeah,
you think about the
Absolutely.
ending,
Yeah,
they close the story.
They had an end to it.
Sure. So then, maybe 3 years from now, they say, "Hey, Breaking Bad comes back," and they're doing same. They incorporate some of the same characters. Maybe they have a new cast or something like that. But they say, "Time for."
Are you talking about Better Call Saul? Basically?
Well, again, I just said, but Better Call Saul is
It's
like
a spin-off.
It's a spin-off. Yeah,
It
It's
follows a different
So you're
character
talking about
story.
like basically an almost pure reboot.
it
So,
almost
like,
pure
how-
reboot or just an extension.
Okay,
How?
So, like, have you guys seen Scrubs at all? I know
Yes.
Aaron has.
I have
I've
Oh my
not.
God.
Okay, so pretty much what happened
Whoa.
was from season 1 to 8, they had a story, they had the main cast, it was done, it was over, and then I don't know what the reasons were, either for more money or they were looking for showtime or whatever it is. They brought back Scrubs for season 9,
Yeah.
and it ended because it was very
bad.
poorly received, and the writing was bad, and the characters weren't relatable, and so they killed it. But season 8 was the official. They had an ending. They had closing relations and stuff like that. Well, oh yeah, I can charge your phone. You can just
Okay.
you don't have to whisper to me.
Dude, I need to watch that show again.
Yeah, it was really good. What's up? Hi. Hey, what's
That
up?
made me
How you
wanna
doing?
He's just whispering to you. It's
No, you're
funny,
good.
apparently.
That actually inspired me to want to be something in the medical field.
Yeah, the Scrubs was a great show. But anyway, so at the end of season 8, they have closing, they have closure. You get a kind of like 5 years out, so you can kind of get a better picture of how it goes. And then all of a sudden, season 9 and it's completely different, completely different setting, but similar cast, same name. So what do you guys think? Like,
I personally, as far as reboots go, I think just just to follow the context we were already in about like Breaking Bad. There are some shows where it will work, and there are some shows where it should never be thought of.
Okay.
Example, Breaking Bad, Dexter. Those shows cannot be rebooted.
King of the
They don't
Hill.
need to be.
Dexter sort of killed itself.
Dexter only has 4 seasons,
Yeah.
and no one can tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
But for examples of like reboots, I think were good ideas done terribly. Did anybody watch back middle school when Toonami was a thing on Cartoon Network?
Oh, yeah.
Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
well,
such a
Teen
great
Titans-
show.
Teen Titans was a great show.
The original.
Not
the second.
that's what I'm talking about. Exactly. The original
so-
was fantastic, and then they tried to reboot this and market it towards a younger audience.
Yeah, no,
and
see, that's the
They
difference.
didn't
That's
need.
the di-
They
that's-
didn't need to.
They didn't need to, but that's so if it's like let's just go along with Teen Titans.
Sure.
Let's say like if Teen Titans was rebooted and it was focused towards the same audience, I wouldn't feel too comfortable with it because I have this I haven't seen Teen Titans in years, but I have this image in my head of what Teen Titans is like. But now that I know that Teen Titans, is it DX or
It's Go.
Go?
Go.
Whenever Teen Titans Go came out, I knew that it was going to be basically like a chibi version of Teen Titans, and I was like, okay, I don't have to care about this. This doesn't bother me at all because it's not marketed towards me. It's marketed towards kids. And if it's that sort of thing where you have this, like this adult show like Breaking Bad or this comedy show like Scrubs that you want to try to bring back to the same audience, I feel like it's always going to fail unless you basically bring back exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
If you have it to a different audience, then it's basically sort of like a generational increment, like where it's like, oh, my dad watched this years ago. Let's bring it back and watch, and let's watch this version.
My problem is with this, they think they can't give content to kids. I think
What do you mean by that? I don't
Avatar did it really well. It was watchable for all ages,
Mhm.
but it was definitely targeted towards 12-year-olds, whatever, like middle school,
okay,
high school.
Yeah.
Why can't they do that with the new Teen Titans Go? I feel like they're basically cutting out all the good content and leaving all the crap
And replacing it with cheap laughs.
It's basically, it went from overarching, like you were saying before, overarching storyline to episodic where none of it fucking matters at all.
I mean, I think one of the things is, people move on from stuff. You really, I mean, you don't unless you're a soap opera person, you don't want to be in the same show for 20 years. You don't want to ever have to go back to your own work.
Okay, yeah.
And And I think that was one of the main things where you just had this new, you had Cartoon Network, which was like, oh, our license for the Teen Titans is about to run out. I don't want Nickelodeon to take it and then have them do their own thing because I like money. That's how most
Wait, that's a thing.
Yeah, really.
License.
Oh yeah, you can lose your license on certain properties. Like that's why That's actually why the new Fantastic Four came out, was because Sony was losing their license.
Well, that's like a movie. I don't know, but like TV shows.
Nope.
Is the
Creative
same.
licenses is usually 7 to 8 years. I think. Don't quote me on this because I don't really know.
I'm gonna quote you.
But
hold on,
no.
But
like,
creative
hold on.
license is
Hold on,
usually like
'cause-
7 to 8 years. Keaton Barron, Michael Scott.
No, but it's like that.
Warner Brothers extended it though. Warner Brothers actually changed the law, so it's
did they
actually
really?
longer.
Okay, well, so
I don't know if was it
but-
Warner. Who are the people who own Mickey
it
Mouse?
was Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse is Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
That's
Disney.
Disney.
That's what.
Yeah,
Hello.
so it was
Sorry.
Disney.
That's a different.
Sorry,
no,
Disney.
Disney.
I'm not
didn't
talking
want-
about copyright. I'm talking about rights. So
Right.
so
Before
you
it
can
goes
have-
into like the public domain.
Well, so no, you can have like, so copyrighted work is now lifetime plus 95 years,
Sure.
or it's lifetime plus 80 years or something like that. But the who can make work off of this copyrighted content is very different, because you can have licenses to copyrighted what was
Like
that?
Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, well, like Spider-Man or
Like
like.
a spooky ghost in the house making noise.
Oh,
Well, you can have licenses for
I gotta go.
copyrighted stuff that you can.
This is
you
my
are the-
job description.
You are the only person who can ever show this, or who can ever do an adaptation of this, because you own you don't own
Okay.
the copyright, but you own the rights to make stuff from it, and that's why
that's Mickey Mouse.
But that's why Cartoon Network made their new thing, because it's been 7 or 8 years since Teen Titans came out, and I'm not certain if Teen Titans was Cartoon Network, but I'm certain
It was
totally
on Cartoon
was.
Network.
it was Cartoon. So
it wasn't like
it wasn't like a dubbed anime or something like that.
it was
No,
one
no,
of
it
those
was
that
not.
was
It was-
actually
it's-
in the
yeah.
logo.
Okay.
Where it
Yeah,
was like
exactly.
Okay.
it was so Cartoon Network. It was their slumber party, all the characters in one place.
Right.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
If you remember that.
But so with the Teen Titans Go thing, you have 7 or 8 years, which I'm just gonna stick with that for saying that's your creative license deadline.
Let's do 7.5 years.
Seven
I'm,
and a half.
Split the
I'm,
difference.
I'm quoting you on this for
Okay.
the rest of my life.
You know what? That's
I will
perfectly
quote it.
fine. I don't care. But you have that amount of time where it's like, we need to make something new. There's a new generation there's a new generation period that looks at Cartoon Network. No teenagers watch Cartoon Network anymore. It's just,
Hold
it's just
on.
9-10-year-olds.
Before we even break into that, I think
Okay.
a lot of people. What's up? What do you want? Yeah, that's fine.
You want you two talk real quick?
Well- Okay. Oh my gosh. All right. Well,
So anyway, stay on the reboot.
all right. Hold on. We're gonna
I have
pause the
something-
podcast for a quick
Hold
second. Hold on. What's up, Aaron? Say your
Problem
thing.
is, I have things to say and then I don't remember them.
Oh, okay. Well, let's reconvene. Get our stuff. Everyone's gonna take a break real quick. Hold on 1 second, everybody.
Let's use your phone, man.
What I was
All right, and we're back. Go ahead. You're what?
No,
Okay,
it's
I
all
think
good.
so. Aaron
we
was
were
Aaron was
we
going to
were
say
on
something
the
about
topic of
retconning.
show rebooting, and I
Just
think we
real
were
quick.
moving on to retcons.
Evan is an alcoholic. He went to get another beer. Keaton had to pee, and he got another beer. So
This is my second beer of the night. I am definitely not an alcoholic.
Oh,
but,
this is my third.
just
so.
before we move into the
I've already had
category-
12 beers.
Just before we move into the category of retconning, I'm going to give a quick definition for anybody who does
I have no
not
idea.
know what that is.
Explain. I have no idea what.
Okay,
retconning
so
is.
basically what a retcon is let's say
It's like
you're
a raccoon?
watching. No. Let's say you're watching a show and the main character has a really bad flaw, like he cannot walk.
Okay.
And then later on the show, let's say episode 5, suddenly the main character is walking around and there's no explanation for that. That's basically what that.
No, it's like a total fuck you to the
in like a
audience.
crappy layman's terms, a
Yeah.
retcon is when they change a very important detail later in the show that just basically has no plot reason, doesn't make sense to change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
so like in that 70s show when Lori died, the actress who played Lori, she died, and then they replaced her. And
Yes,
They
yes.
Even, They didn't even mention it.
Exactly. Yeah. They
Because they
So,
couldn't
no,
mention it.
Star Wars did a really good adaptation of that when the actor who played Luke got run over or whatever,
What?
like the accident.
No, yeah. Sorry, I just yawned totally in the mic.
Like he got in a wreck
Were you bored of this podcast, Keith?
No, I'm just. I've been.
You can
So
leave
he got in
if
a
you're
wreck
bored.
and what?
No. So
he got in a wreck in real life. Then in the
Mark
movie,
Mark Hamill
they
got
made him-
into a really bad wreck, and what they did was they basically.
Aaron was explaining it.
I was.
Okay, but
Keaton
you didn't
Gosh.
know who he was. Mark Hamill.
Jesus
Go,
Christ.
No, you go ahead.
No, you can go.
No,
Did you know that Mark Hamill's the Joker?
Hey,
Did you know that Mark
Hey,
Hamill
Aaron,
has other roles other
shut
than...
up, you ball. Hey, Aaron. I know this is your
Oh,
podcast.
that
but
was
I don't
another
give a
thing I was
shit.
going to
That's
say.
why you
Okay,
tell me how
go
to
ahead.
shut up.
when you were
Go ahead,
talking about Teen Titans,
yeah.
when someone has that unique of a role, they are going to be that role for forever. Like when the voice actor of Robin was in Black Ops 2.
You mean Mark Hamill?
No.
Get out
was-
of here.
When he was in Black
Who
Ops
was the
2,
voice actor? Was it Nolan? Who was
I don't
it?
know.
Nolan North?
But we know
I
his
don't know.
name. Every time he
John
said
Doe.
any of his lines at
Jeremiah
all,
Butt
it was
Licker.
the boy
Yeah.
blunder because he was Robin.
See, I never played
Hold on,
Black
man,
Ops
I'm
2, so
going
I
to
never
adjust
had
this
that.
real quick for you so you're actually...
Yes, you can actually hear me.
No, you can hear
You can hear. I mean, it's a mic, but it's
the
the
pop filter.
it's the pop filter. That must have been horrible. I'm so sorry, people.
Whatever. I
All
don't
right,
give a shit.
but okay,
It's okay.
when these
I'll
We're
just-
on episode 4. Quality doesn't matter yet.
yeah,
Content
when these
matters.
writers just think that they can just say "fuck you" to the audience and just change something out of
Wait,
nowhere.
but you mentioned King of the Hill. So
Yeah,
what
King of the
happened?
Hill,
to King?
okay.
I've
I
watched
don't-
that show a million times.
I
What are you
don't
talking
remember the detail right now, but I remembered it so well.
Of course.
I noticed when they flopped something with his dad because his dad has a very like
Who,
Yeah,
Cotton?
I'm Cotton. I kill for the man.
Cotton
Yeah.
has a very good storyline going for him that
Sure.
he keeps. And then there was this random detail where they changed it, and it was Hank's something about Hank's life that involves Cotton, and it didn't make sense with anything else. And I'm like, okay, are they really doing this? Are they really changing that? So
I don't think.
nothing else.
I
was
think
the
you're trying to
same.
connect dots.
No.
Everything was the same. Cotton was always I kill
No,
50
no,
men.
no, no. There was something that changed.
Because then he had Good Hank. He had his kid Good Hank, and then he. That's what happened. He had
I know,
he had a
it
kid
was-
with
No.
what's her name, and it was Good Hank.
Loretta.
Loretta. Yeah, sure. I don't know what detail you're talking about that they changed.
if we ever watch King of the Hill and I notice it again, I'll tell you.
All right.
Because it was something about him
So
in high
never.
school or something.
No, I need to know now.
It was I don't know.
Hank was on the football team and he broke his he snapped his ankle,
Keep doing
weak
details.
ankle.
Keep doing details.
Bob.
God
God damn it, Bobby!
Bother. I don't know. I mean, I
sell
thought the show was
podcast and
awesome.
Podcast
50 men.
accessories.
I killed 50 men.
I would love if there was a real life Hank Hill somewhere.
Oh, there has
It's
to be.
my dad.
There
I'm
has
sorry.
to be.
Except he doesn't drink, so it doesn't matter.
But he doesn't also have catchphrases
Yep.
though.
Doesn't count.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Hank Hill. I sell propane and propane accessories.
Keaton, you don't have anything to add to this?
I've never seen.
He's
King
never
of the Hill,
seen King of the
so it's just my
My
dad never watched. My family never watched it, so I never watched it. It's the same thing with Simpsons. I've never seen The Simpsons.
What?
Whoa!
Ow, fuck
that
me,
hurt
that
my
hurt.
ears.
I
I'm
didn't hurt
sorry,
my
but
ears.
you haven't seen The Simpsons?
Rest
just-
in peace, headphones.
Do you even
users.
know?
Fuck
Do you even
me.
know what the symptoms are?
Yeah, I know what The Simpsons are.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they? Hold on. Is the skin color normal?
No, it's yellow.
Blue, purple,
Okay,
indigo,
I'm being
or
Yellow.
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 All right, sorry, but The Simpsons.
See,
does,
he knows the Simpsons.
Okay,
Okay,
The
listen.
Simpsons do the exact same thing where they retcon some very.
Well, but
Okay,
the
that's-
Simpsons.
That's
The Simpsons-
different. It's a cartoon.
I know, but
But hold on, the Simpsons have been going on for like 27 years or
yeah,
something like that. So, if they have to just change things,
They do. They change things. Like originally,
Sure.
they were born in the 1970s. Or sorry, they were married in the 1970s, and then
Uh-huh.
every decade they move it by 10 years.
to keep it relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Relevant.
but see, that's the
Very
sort of thing.
relevant.
Like
Relevant.
you're talking about it being like you said 27 or it's a long time.
I
right?
said 27.
Well, I don't know.
Quote
how,
me on it.
Okay, let's say 27.
27.
27
Duval
seasons.
Parker.
Let's say
Michael Scott.
27 years
No,
of
27 seasons.
27 seasons,
Which is 27
which is
years.
basically almost 27. It's let's say 25
More or
years.
less. More or less.
Let's just say 25
Hold
years.
on, let's split the difference. 25 and a half years.
Shut up.
Okay.
Okay, 26 years. Got it.
Okay, so let's
26
okay.
and a third year.
Let's say
Okay, got it.
Let's say 26
because you have
and
to incorporate leap years.
okay, let's
Yeah.
say 26. Let's say 26 and 2/8 in one day.
Good shit.
Perfect. Thank you. Brilliant. I'm quoting you on that.
Cool. But that's so many. That's so many episodes that it's like
Yeah.
the same thing with going back into anime. It's the same thing with One Piece. Like I have friends who have started watching One Piece when they were a kid and still watch it when they're growing up. And
Yeah.
there's episodes and episodes
It's
and
just
episodes,
so
and there's
much.
there's
It's
chapters and
overwhelming.
chapters. But it's like if I need to get through now it's like 810 chapters
What?
just
You
to
can't
get to
catch
the
up on
like
it,
I
yeah.
can't, and it just feels like I'm just gonna be like running on a treadmill, and I'm never going to be able to get to the front because they're going to keep making more stuff.
I'm going to tell you something that I really wish I never did as a kid. I was in
too real.
I was in Yellowstone Park with my grandparents. Super real. I had a TV set.
Hold on, real quick, Aaron. This is going on everywhere. Just letting you know.
No, I know.
Okay,
this is something that
we're broadcasting to the White House.
This is
right
a
now.
moral.
Trump is listening to
this
you.
is a moral failing of me. Okay.
Oh God.
We were going through Yellowstone Park, and we had a TV set in the back of the van. I was watching episode. What
kind of TV did you have?
I was watching season 1 through 6 of The Simpsons.
Hold on, what TV
Instead of looking out my window.
Doesn't matter.
Aaron,
what
answer
TV
me. What TV?
Shut the fuck up. Instead of looking out my window at the buffalo and the geysers
and the deer
and
the
everything, I wasn't looking out my window. I was watching The Simpsons.
Well, but that's okay though.
Yeah,
because if you're such a young age,
I remember when I was a kid that we were driving out to Mount David, which is like it has this observatory. And
did you go to Mount Joseph?
There's no Mount Joseph.
Did you go to
Mount? Jesus?
No, not Mount Jesus.
When do we get the button that cues the laugh track?
There's a podcast that I listen to, and they've got they've got kind of like a soundboard.
Yeah,
and so it's hooked up and everything, so it'll play music and just like free public domain, just like background music.
Cool.
Right.
And so I was trying to look into it and see where it is. But
we
I'm
should
sorry,
be like you guys ever watch Parks and Rec?
You mean The Office, but not The Office?
Yeah.
Oh.
Crazy Ira and the Douche.
Yeah. Anyways, Keaton, go ahead. So you're at Mount Rushmore.
Oh no, it doesn't matter anymore.
No, I want to know.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel when I
speak.
it
was just a supplemental thing that Aaron said, where we were driving to Mount David, which is like this like one of the pretty much the only mountain in Texas that has this huge observatory that's like you can go see the stars and stuff. And like we were driving through, this actually is sort of the Woodlands area. Maybe, I'm not certain. It might be West Texas. Anyway, it was a nice area.
What's in West Texas?
West Texas, oil refineries.
Paso.
Yeah, but it has a nice landscape, and especially when you're going up towards the plateau, from
Evans knocking the table.
from like Abilene and stuff.
Wait, and how old were you when you were doing this?
I was about 8 or 9.
Oh,
okay. And Aaron, how old were you when you were going through?
I was probably
Bluestone National Park.
I was at that age where I thought I was old. I was 10.
Okay. So it's
basically
the same age. But like that, I was always playing my Game Boy, and like my parents, and my grandparents were like, you need to look outside. You'll never have this experience again.
But hold on a second. At such a young age, do you really think that we could actually be able to appreciate the beauty?
Not at
and
all.
I totally will.
No, exactly.
Grass?
Yeah,
Totally
no.
will. So we're drawn to the immediate stimulation of TV or Game Boy or whatever it is.
Travel is better saved for when you're older.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can look at a map and pick out a place and be like, I want to go here and experience this place.
You'd be able to.
Museums are boring when you're a kid, but they're so
amazing. Going to the science museum as a kid was awesome.
Oh no, I'm not talking about like science. I'm talking about like
history museums,
like history and art museums.
I love going to history and art museums now, but when I was 10, oh my god!
Whenever you're a teenager or something like that, you go there and you're just like, oh, why am I here? This is so boring. I'd rather be at home. But whenever you go now, it's like you have to bring yourself there and you have to be excited about it, or else you wouldn't go anyway.
Yeah,
so
you're going because you're
so you go there and you're like, wow, like you learn so much about like this history that you didn't even realize.
And I also think it's just we wouldn't be able to understand the complexities and the gravity of just like what it is in Bluestone National Park or Mount Joseph. It's like
Bluestone.
It's like you go to these places and sure, it's pretty, and that's the amount that you can come up with.
But the significance of Yellowstone Park is if it's a super volcano, if it blows, everyone in the North Hemisphere is dead.
It's okay. I'm trying to mess with the pop filter, but it's
everybody.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Like everyone, like there's a giant ass crater. Like where's
are you talking about Bluestone or Redstone?
Okay, wait.
We're talking about wait.
You all.
So it's such a huge volcano. We're looking for the tip. I'm like, where is it? Let me look at it from a bird's eye view. I'm like, holy shit!
Wait,
it's the entire state.
Wait,
is this volcano?
State of what? Where's
I don't remember.
Where's Bluestone?
Hang on.
Hold on. I don't know where Bluestone National Park is.
Aaron's had one too many.
Me and Evan had a bit of a side conversation.
I heard you were talking. That was very rude.
We switched from family vacations to talking about a super volcano that could kill us.
Volcanoes are awesome. Okay,
I still subscribe to the idea of virgin sacrifice.
I'm looking it up.
I really think if we do that, we could.
No, I mean,
we could save global warming.
Yellowstone's in Wyoming.
Okay, yeah, I know it's Wyoming, but it's more than just Wyoming.
Yeah, no, it's the entire.
It's
Wait,
a
hold on. So
fucking
Wyoming has a giant volcano?
No.
It's like
The
it's,
North Hemisphere.
It's,
Whoa.
So it's like it's from like the California
Volume
fault line.
knob down
like,
a
so
little
you
bit.
have like Utah and
Uh-huh.
Wyoming, that area.
Sure.
And then north up to basically like where Washington is,
Uh-huh.
it's like this huge caldera supervolcano.
It's
sort of
fucking
thing.
huge.
Really?
Yeah, and it
No.
can blow up within 100,000 to.
But that's
Like,
all. But it's
now.
It
dormant
would
though.
go off
it's,
so
it's
quickly
dead.
we
yeah.
wouldn't even know.
And that's okay.
we
I'm
would be
totally
dead.
okay with that.
Yeah, I
Oh
mean,
yeah, it's that
Speaking
big.
of like natural
It's that
disaster
fucking
type
big.
things, I'm just waiting for California to break off and float away at this point. Like, just,
Why is
Okay,
that?
if
let's
it
go.
ever
Let's
goes
go down
off-
to 49 states already, please.
I like California.
Wait, hold on. We talking
Just
about
joking.
end of the
Lord,
world
on the
type
other hand,
thing,
good God.
where California's gonna break off and hang out with
Okay,
Alaska.
okay, take a nap.
Okay, no, like Mount St. Helen is nothing compared to Yellowstone's volcano.
What is Mount St. Petersburg?
Are you fucking kidding
That was the.
Do you not understand names?
That was
No.
the that was the volcano in Washington that exploded in 1982.
Wait, what's the one in Pompeii?
That's
Pompeii?
I have no idea.
that's
probably.
no, that's Mount Vesuvius.
Krakatoa?
Mount
yeah,
Vesuvius.
Krakatoa. No, Krakatoa is Indonesia.
I know. I'm just
Wait, are you
joking.
serious? That's an actual
No,
volcano?
it's an actual.
Yes.
No, that was the loudest recorded. That was the loudest recorded sound.
It's a
It
real
was so loud that you could hear the
Wait,
bang.
Vesubia or Krakatoa?
No, Krakatoa. You could hear the bang 10,000 miles away, and it shattered glass like
Wow.
500 miles
Wow.
away.
Wow,
It was
when did that
loud.
explode?
1882.
Dang.
Shit.
Are
You
you
know,
just,
I was reading about something like that the other day. There was, I'm not sure if it was a volcano
I think
or
1882.
what exactly
quote
it
you on that.
was, but there was, it was some natural disaster that made a noise so loud. Apparently,
was it Keaton's birth?
yes. Yeah, that is indeed a natural disaster. But apparently, the
minute.
sound could be heard around the world 3 times. Like
That was
like,
Krakatoa.
was
Was
it
it
okay?
Krakatoa?
Okay,
Was
yeah.
it?
Like you would hear it,
I'm sorry.
and then a couple minutes later, you would hear it again.
Hold on,
Let me make a
Keaton's correcting.
correction. It was 1883, not 1882.
Oh
Wow, that was really
You
good,
are
though, for-
misleading us right
Retcon.
now.
Hold on.
You just
Hold on.
retconned
Do you
us.
just know volcano facts or just
Oh
like
no, I
natural
just know
disaster?
facts in general.
Yeah.
I read a lot of history stuff and I read a lot.
All right.
of...
Everyone, weirdest fact you know. You've all go.
Weirdest
Ladybugs poop out of their front mouth.
Okay.
Really?
Seahorses.
Yes.
Like, are you actually like?
I'm being 100%
Okay.
serious.
Male seahorses carry the babies.
Okay, Keaton.
Wombats poop in cubes.
Ooh, no.
Wow.
Guano is used in gunpowder. I know that.
Technically,
Man, I'm trying to think of one. I'm actually
Old
blanking.
gunpowder.
Shoot. What's
Wow,
my-
you try and put us up on the
80.
I
How about
lost
this?
it.
How about this one? That's sort of statistical. 80% of the Canadian population lives within 50 miles of the U.S. border.
Oh, I got one for you.
That is
Wow.
true because
83%
Canada is just ice.
Yeah, 83% of statistics are made up on the spot.
I was about
100%
to say
of the
that,
time.
you dick. Did you know that no matter what the percentage that something's going to happen is, like if there's like a 1% chance of something happening, it's actually just 50-50 because it either happens or it doesn't, you know?
That's
Actually,
you're talking
that's
about
some
some
logic.
binomial
If we're
PDF
getting
going
into
on
real
right there. Didn't
If we're
bring
gonna
in statistical
if we're
analysis
gonna
here.
get into that, there's actually a mathematical. So I guess I give a little background. I'm a chemist, so that's
Okay.
so I do a lot of chemistry
Hold on, so did
stuff.
you get a lot
Studying
of
to be a chemist.
inspiration from
Okay,
The
my
Walking
uncle
Dead?
is a
From-
PhD chemist.
yeah,
from
Breaking
the
Bad,
Walking
sorry.
Chemist.
From the Walking,
like,
I watched a lot of Walking Dead. And I'm like, hey, I want to be a zombie. But how can I do that? I know. I'll go into chemistry because
Wait,
that'll
I
just
know,
kill
I'll
your
start
soul.
watching Breaking Bad
Wait,
now.
Breaking Bad was AMC or no?
Yeah,
yeah.
there's
Oh,
the same
what's-
channel.
Okay,
Same-
I
yeah.
love that
That's what,
show,
that's
but
why
it
I was
killed
trying to
No,
make the
but
connection.
like, I don't know why I preface that, but it's this mathematical formula that you can't truly mix everything thoroughly because there's
Okay.
always going to be a focal
Water?
point.
Or-
No, anything, any
air.
any particle, anything that is in a closed system, you cannot move every single particle because at least one atom will be the focal point.
Hold
of the rotation. Okay.
on. What about love?
I'm talking about a
All
closed
you
system.
need is-
We're talking about things that are real.
Oh shit! Sorry, Sasha.
Wait. All right. Anyways, let's move on to an actual topic that I have written down
Okay.
instead of just
Yeah, let's
Cool.
go for it.
BSing it.
So now we're moving away from volcanoes to what?
No,
I mean,
no,
honestly, I really like
volcano
volcanoes.
facts.
Get out of here.
No,
okay.
Do you have
Seriously,
volcano facts?
no,
Aaron, you have 1 minute to talk about
Okay,
volcanoes.
No, I'm being very
59.
serious. This is
58.
one of
Just
the
count
only
your head,
things that
kid.
ever scared me as a kid. If Yellowstone goes off, we won't even have a second to know. Like, it's one of those. There's no point. There's like no point stressing over it because if it happens, it's so quick. We're all gone. You know, just.
Okay, that was 20 seconds. So
That-
that was
is
good.
that
That was
it?
close.
That's it?
That was
all
that
you
was
need?
No, that was actually very concise.
Real quick,
You had 34 seconds left. Good job.
branching off of that,
good.
would you rather be killed instantly by just like whatever, or know what you're gonna die from, but still
Never
die
know.
a painless death?
Never know.
Never know.
I would not want to know.
Really?
I'd rather like honestly.
You know what I would do?
I'd rather just die.
You know what I would do is like if you know how to die, it would be like if I find out it's going to be like
You're gonna live your life in fear.
No. What it's going to be? It's going to be like oh, how do you know you're going to die? It's like heroin overdose in 5 minutes because as soon as I find out, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, hold on a second. So, do you not know? Like, if you know the date, you don't know the reason.
No, I would never.
No,
I would never.
Death Note.
I never
Why
wanted-
not?
Are we talking about Death Note now?
No,
Not Death Note.
That's
but-
very different.
I would no. I'd rather like if I had the choice between just at some point in my life someone's gonna walk up to me and shoot me. I'll never know when, who, or why. Or on this day someone's going to shoot me. I would rather it be random.
No. Just
On this day I will die.
you will die. Yeah. So it could be of old age. It could be from a disease.
Yeah,
it could
I'd
be
rather
from choking
not
to
know.
death.
I
or
would
something.
honestly,
not
yeah,
know.
I would.
Why not?
Rather
Because
I
it's-
wouldn't want to live in fear. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to change how I'm living
that's
my
one
life
thing,
because I know
because-
when I'm gonna die.
If you know, maybe it's the stress of knowing that actually.
But it's the same sort of thing where it's like if someone tells me, "Hey, someday you're going to die," I'm gonna be like, "Hey, asshole, everyone does." So I don't really care.
But no. But the thing is, for me, it's because, and I don't know if I would say that I'm afraid of death because I'm not gonna like prevent myself from doing things because I could potentially die.
Yeah.
But I feel like the reality of it is it where you're on your deathbed, I'd be freaking out. Like if I, pray to God that I get there due to old age. But if I get there, I'll be on my deathbed. I'm gonna be freaking out. It's gonna be this weird experience for me. So if I know when I'm gonna die, the year
prepare.
of when, I feel like in this theoretical situation, I can prepare myself. I can make amends with people that I may have wronged in the past, and so I'd have that perspective because
I feel like what would happen. So let's say like hypothetically, it's like okay, you're gonna die in let's say like 6 years. It's like
you're gonna die.
Let's not get into
August
it. Okay, you know what?
2142.
Okay, so let's not get into this.
Okay,
but
that's pretty dope.
okay, actually, yeah, no,
So
that's actually a
vague.
really good example. So let's say like you die in 2142. You said August 2nd.
Sure.
So that
You said that better than what I said. I said
2142?
2142.
Yeah.
All right.
So you're
So
gonna
you're
die.
gonna change. You will. You say that you like. Oh, you'll amend friends with some stuff, but if you know you're going to die at that point, it's going to be a sort of thing where it's just like, oh, should I do this? Oh no, I got years until I can't do it anymore. So at some point, I feel like your life will be a thing of but I got time, and then at some point you'll be like, oh, I don't have time
I'm
anymore.
out of time. Yeah.
I'd rather live your life to the fullest every single day without knowing that it will be your last.
But
But not like it.
Well,
That sounds super
realistically-
fucking cliche, but it's that. Yeah.
And I don't. But I mean, how realistically, we go from day to day because for me, going through the week is just a drag. It's I go to work, do whatever, get home, and then do a podcast or do whatever other plans that I have.
Play
and
games.
just, whatever it is, and it's such a drag. But I feel like if you knew, then it's like okay, get the dull, boring stuff out of the way now, and then I'd be able to save the time because you never know when you're going to croak. So it's like, what if you croak and then your whole life you're just doing
What
dull,
about
boring
the
stuff?
broken
Well,
slow?
see, at that
Unlucky.
point, it doesn't matter because you croaked.
Yeah. No, it's the sort of thing.
Not
where
to
it's-
say that,
Stroke and croak.
like you, like Keaton was saying, and it is cliched. You should do your best to try and live a full, fulfilling life.
Yeah.
No matter
Yeah.
if you know you're gonna die anytime
Exactly.
soon. No matter the circumstance, no matter where you come from, where
But
you've been,
I
or where
feel
you're
like-
going.
because
I feel
I-
like there's certain liberties that you
Well,
have to give up.
Let me give you a bit of a personal experience from me.
All right.
I would definitely say this is not the job that I was. The job that I do right now
Fuck no.
is not
Sure.
it's not the job that I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I would say there's always bad days in every job, and especially whenever you're also going to school at the same time,
But
it's
if you
always
know-
going to be bad
The
days.
good days aren't worth it sometimes.
No. I'm saying that like from my perspective, I'm a very joyous person because I treat every day like it's okay. This is it's not going to be the best day of my life, but I'm still going to try to make it a good day. I'm always happy. I'm always joyful. I always try to make people laugh. I always try to meet new people, and that makes these days that I don't think I'll ever regret.
Well, because my way I'm going about it is if you don't know when you're going to die, there are certain liberties that you have to give up because it's like, okay, I don't know when I'm going to die, but I have to make ends meet. I have to pay the bills. I have to work, do this, da 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 da. But if it's, if theoretically, God forbid, I have to die in 10 years or something like that, well,
then you can say,
I know.
Well, I'm just going to go do all the stuff I want to do now.
Well, but even then, more realistically, I work for 5-6 years, save up as much money, dread my life, and then the last 4 years of my life could be bliss, pure bliss. Whereas if you don't know when you're going to die, you're just going to be in the same mundane routine. Oh, you're dead. Well, that's it.
That is a good point. I will give you that. And I mean, just to be honest on this kind of debate, I really think that both sides have
it's your personal preference.
It really is. Like, both of them really have pros and cons that, depending on you as a person, one may outweigh the other in that case.
Sure.
But like that, that's just my personal preference. Like, if it comes down to it, I just don't want to know when I'm going to die, because frankly, just with the mindset I've been in my life, I'm just going to dread it. Like, I'm not going to take my time and get ready to enjoy it. But I do that already, knowing that any day I could die.
Sure. Aaron, you haven't
like,
really...
for me, it's more of a I can die.
Don't apologize to him.
Yeah, stop apologizing.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt him.
It's like like currently I know I could die at any time. I could die on my drive home tonight, God forbid. I hope that doesn't happen. But with that knowledge in mind, I'm going to go out of my way to make people laugh, make people happy every day, and try to make myself happy every day. So it's
so you feel like you're doing that, or at least
I feel
doing
like
to an extent, you're trying to do that every day.
We have the very same
actively, I am trying to better myself at all times, and I know that if I had an expiration date per se, that I would just be dreading it.
Aaron, I want to know what your opinion is, because we've mainly just been us three talking about it, but I kind of want to know what you think. Would you rather have your date?
Do you want to know when your expiration date is?
Yeah, would you rather have your date known, or would you rather be anonymous?
I've really already kind of said I don't want to know. I'd rather live.
I might have not heard. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Because Keaton's in his own bubble.
And because if you have that kind of knowledge, then what kind of life are you going to live? Especially up to the point where you know.
Hey, Aaron, speak closer to the mic.
Especially when you're almost there, you're like, what are you going to do? Because
sorry, it's just you're.
No, you're fine.
You're not fine.
I know I'm fine.
Yeah, you're not anymore.
We're all good looking.
But it's like that kind of weight on you. You don't need that.
Aaron, speak closer to the mic.
In front of the mic.
Oh my god! You don't need that kind of weight in your life, because it's like, I don't know. It's just not good for you.
Yeah, very, very, very true. So you had topics.
I don't want to talk about.
I've got some topics.
No, let's get away from this super existential bullshit
something.
stuff.
Yeah. Hey,
well, this is the kind of stuff that, like,
when
sure we can.
I'm sure we can. Yeah,
we can bitch and talk about like movies and TV shows and stuff like that. But
this is something I really want to talk about.
Yeah, this is the real meaty content of the podcast.
No, this is something that's actually on my mind. When you mentioned the 2100s.
What do you mean the 2100s?
When you
mentioned you're saying like you're going to die in the 2100s.
Yeah.
Oh, so sure. Okay.
We've already gotten to the point where World War II is no longer. I mean, with the people in the know, it's an issue, but with people that don't care at all, it's got no relevance at all. So it's like, what's going to happen when we enter this 200 years after World War I, after World War II? What kind of mindsets are we going to have about war, about how it affects us, how it actually...
I don't know. I think
like
the
how
stigma
close it is to home,
because we're all the fingers are on the buttons, and we're all just because we can't have another world war.
Can I give it from a
no?
Can I give it from a?
I'm going to say quotes, and then you can give your historical BS.
Okay. No. Can I? Actually, no. Go ahead.
Are you going to let me? You're going to let me?
Yeah.
You're going to let me?
It's your podcast.
You're going to let me?
Just say it.
It is my podcast. Thank you. Well, I mean, it's everybody's podcast, but
it's the people's podcast.
It is the people's
now say your quote.
It's the podcast.
Well, no. So I always thought, and I got this from a Call of Duty game, but it was a Albert Einstein quote, and he's like, I don't know. It's that one. Yeah. No, it's not.
I don't know what World War III will be fought with, but I know that World War IV will be fought with sticks and rocks.
Yeah,
sticks
Einstein.
and stones. Yeah.
Einstein.
Yes. That is a fantastic quote.
And so that's why I think going forward now into 200 years and stuff like that.
That was one of the quotes when you died in Call of Duty 4, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
I don't know if it's Call of Duty 4.
I think
maybe
it's 4.
1 and 4.
It's 4.
Okay. Cool.
1 and 4.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No. Yeah. But yeah, so 200 years from now, I think we're still going in that mindset where no one wants going to have a nuclear... Because, 200 years from now, we're going to multiply our nuclear supply by 5 billion, right? And everyone's going to have...
I don't think so. I think we're going to find something worse by then.
Worse than a nuclear weapon?
Yes.
What's worse than...
We don't know.
It's not
okay, but with the rate at how quickly science is advancing,
We're gonna find something
like
else.
at this point, like
Quantum teleporting or something.
like nanobots are a huge
Well,
thing.
yes.
right now.
Immediately, we're
Oh
going
my
to
God,
immediately
you could-
outlaw all of that.
No, it's
Because I mean, in terms of
Okay,
in
that's
terms
a
of
good point.
warfare,
no. Here's the problem with stuff like that. If the good don't do it, the bad still have the opportunity to do it.
sure.
So if we have that technology and we don't use it to the extent where we can
But-
actually
but I
protect,
think-
protect ourselves from it, there's nothing that's going to
But
prevent it from
we're going to
someone
protect
doing it.
ourselves from it because I think going forward, all new innovations, all new technology, it's going to be completely monitored, and it's going to be completely essentially
Monetized, probably.
not. Well, I'm sure monetized to a certain extent.
Monitored and monetized.
But
Yeah.
but we're gonna get cracked. The government, our government, whatever government of whatever country is building this weapon, so to speak, is gonna completely crack down on it because again,
I hope.
Well, that's the theory, but nuclear weapons, missiles, ballistic missiles, armed with whatever warhead, whatever gas or any kind of chemical warfare, because that's not. Because isn't that like technically considered illegal or whatever, or however? Because it's like if you're doing total warfare,
Guerrilla warfare has a lot of things that could be considered illegal,
yeah.
but it still happens. That's
and
why
I mean, at
the
that
Vietnam
point,
War-
we're getting into the Geneva Convention.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
things
exactly.
like white phosphorus
Right.
is, according to the Geneva Convention, not something you are allowed to do during war. Now,
Right.
something that I've always been a little confused on is how they enforce things like that.
they don't. That's the problem.
I think it's just
If
a
you don't-
mutual because
No, that's the honor system.
Because
it
it's-
works with some.
right because as soon as some country starts using it, well, we know
Then
that
it's
we're going
gonna
to start
escalate.
napalm
Or like
napalming
another
and
thing
bullshit
in
like that.
the Geneva Convention that I, as far as I am concerned, has been honored, at least all the way through World War II.
Yeah.
If a pilot gets shot down out of his ship and he's parachuting out of his ship, you are not allowed to kill him.
That
Really?
didn't happen in World War II.
I
The
don't
Luftwaffe actually kind of. There's a couple of stories
But at that
about
point,
that.
Well,
we're
those are
talking
just
about Nazis.
Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nazis break the
So
rules.
can I give a bit of a historical approach on you're talking about like
Aaron
like
made a
the-
noise. Aaron, what's your noise?
No, I was just talking to this one.
Into the mic, sweetie.
I was talking to this one exchange student from Germany, and she was talking about how there's actual neo-Nazis in Germany now.
Okay,
Actually illegal, though.
There are
No,
actually
actually,
neo-Nazis
so
in
I have
America.
a
I know,
There's
but
actually,
I
there's actually
thought-
a reason for it.
I thought they were so guilty.
No. There's
I thought the.
Well,
I thought
it's
they were-
illegal. It's illegal to talk.
I know.
to-
No, there's actually a really geopolitical reason for it. So whenever
Hold on, Aaron. Are you finished with your
Or you
thoughts,
wasn't-
sweetie?
Go
ahead,
wasn't?
continue.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought so
Into the
many
mic, sweetie.
people were like after the aftermath of World War II, when someone mentioned you look like your grandfather, that wasn't a compliment because
Sure.
you looked like the guy who killed thousands of people.
Sure.
And they were very guilty about that.
Oh, yeah, they're completely
for
ashamed
so
of their
long.
past. They're
For
completely
so
ashamed,
long.
yeah.
How can there actually be people who think that's a good thing?
Well,
Can I
Yes,
give the
Keaton.
geopolitical stance?
Yes. What?
Because there's actually a distinct reason for it. So whenever you're talking about
I would love to have you talk with John. Because
Let
both of
him
you guys
talk.
would. Well, John's not here right now. Please leave a message after the beep.
So-
Call him up. We're gonna call him on the
whenever
air.
you have whenever Germany was partitioned between it was the West and the East basically after not really even just the Berlin Wall, just Germany in general. You had East Germany and West Germany. East Germany was part of the Comintern. West Germany became free after a significant amount of time.
And my dad actually thought the wall wasn't ever going to go down in his lifetime.
You're right, but you had
But it
this.
did.
So
I don't
you
think
had
anybody
so you had this
imagined that.
West. You had the capitalist side and you had the communist side. So you had because I'm just going to basically have that simple. You had West Germany, who was they were the ones who they had the apology, they were like, we know we did something bad, but East Germany was under the Comintern, and they actually did not have really any. I'm not going to say I don't want to say they had no direction or they had no remorse, but they certainly didn't have a government in place that would allow them to
Feel guilt.
no that said, hey, we did this wrong. It was just, oh yeah, that kind of happened, let's move on. And now you have 60 years later where you hear
Don't worry about it, Aaron.
in a lot of countries in a lot of cities in West Germany, especially in Hamburg and like those areas, you have you're required to learn about the Holocaust. You're required to go to a concentration camp.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have the youth or the youth back in the day, whenever they were raised up in the Comintern, that in East Germany, where you had just, it was just like, oh yeah, World War II happened.
Yep.
The Soviets did really well, and then we took part of Germany.
Oh,
but that's all you learn. You never learn about concentration camps. You never learn about, the atrocities that Germany had committed, and because of that, it's what I was going to say earlier. Whenever we started talking about this, it is the idealism of past wars, the idealism of past wars, where
that
you
is
have,
a problem,
because World War One still had the idealism of the Neapolitan Wars, where back in like in 1812 and 1815, where you had these wars that were fought by gentlemen, or this was the start of the Neopolitical Wars, and you had this sort of attitude like, we will fight like gentlemen still. And then World War One hit, and then Germany was like, we're not going to fight like gentlemen anymore. And because of that, it changed what people thought of war. And then World War II happened, and it changed. Yeah, and then World War II happened, and it basically just confirmed it. But now we're 60, 70 years into the future without another without a world conflict.
Not a world war.
Without a world conflict. But for a lot of people, you think back, you think back on World War II, and it's like it's an idolization.
It is. It really is. But if you think about it, what happened with Vietnam, with the French, and then finally the U.S., where we really noticed, no, there's no gentleman fighting at all. This is when we see
Vietnam
it's ridiculous.
It's
its own beast.
Have you guys seen Full Metal Jacket?
No,
that was a really good movie.
Vietnam is such
really
like a fluke of a war.
It was a clusterfuck of a war.
Vietnam was, I think, literally one of the stupidest things this country's ever done.
Apocalypse Now is also really
one of the problems
is a pretty good movie.
All right, back to movies.
Hold on, real quick. Real quick, I'm just gonna make one statement about Vietnam.
And I do have a hot button issue.
I have a hot button about the Vietnam.
1 second.
Go ahead.
I think hindsight is 50-50. So the fact that we can talk about it 50-50, 100-100, whatever,
20-20.
it's still a 1 over 1.
Hey, it's still 1 over 1. Yeah,
1 over 1.
No, but you're talking about eyesight.
Yeah,
you're in
hindsight. Hind eye is 1
You're
over 1.
Not good with quotes, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I think it's a lot easier to.
No,
look
I'm not.
at
Yuval Parker, Michael Scott.
I think it's a lot easier to look at conflict and wars and what we could have done and what we could have done better and what were bad ideas now than back then.
No, before we
that's
lose
all I'm going to say.
You
guys can talk about Vietnam all you want.
Before we lose the point,
you had a point.
My government teacher is basically saying the kind of bullshit we thought we could win Vietnam War with is the same lens we're looking at North Korea with right now. We could have the exact same.
We didn't have an actual war. It wasn't classified as a war. It was just battles in Vietnam.
It was a war.
No, it was a war.
It was.
Was
totally
it officially like a
It was a
classified?
war.
It's officially.
Yeah, okay.
You can talk to my mom about it.
Okay, it could be a war, but did we actually classify it as a war?
We classified
there
it
were
as
people
war.
burning themselves.
I classify
it
it
war.
as a senseless massacre.
Yes.
It's it's
well, you had like World War I, World War II,
and then the Vietnam War.
Well,
okay.
So every conflict,
Cold War.
every conflict that you're talking about, like Korean War, Vietnam War, you're talking about like the Iraqi. Those are all, we call them conflicts because war has sort of changed its own definition, but they
War
are
never changes.
they are wars.
And then
but we need government approval to declare war, right?
That is yes.
Yeah. I
believe the commander in chief technically has to declare the war.
Right. So did we declare war?
Senate has to declare.
Senate. Okay.
Okay. So the Senate did they declare war in Vietnam?
I'm not certain.
Senate.
Okay.
I don't know much about current current politics is politics back to
That's what it looks like.
back to the 1960s and 70s.
Uh-huh.
I know that it was a very long conflict and that it wasn't
sure, but that's what I'm saying because we declared war on Germany, we declared war on drugs, we declared but declared war on Japan. But I don't know if we've actually
such a waste of money.
Yes.
Sorry,
but anyways,
let's move on.
Back,
you had a hot topic you were going to talk about.
Go ahead and finish what you're saying, Yuval.
Oh, that was it. I was just curious to know if we actually declared war at Vietnam.
I was just kind of going back.
You say we totally did, but are you sure? Did the Senate declare war?
Very, very sure we declared war. It may not have been the Senate. It may have been an executive
I'm going to
order.
look it up.
Hit up the Google.
That's different. That's different.
All right. Well, then while you guys are looking that up, I'm going to go ahead and pitch out my topic real quick.
Right.
No.
So I was kind of going over while we were talking about World War II and Nazism, and that kind of reminded me of a more modern issue that's come up in the last couple of months. And like Yuval, for example, you and I used to live in Denton, So this
Yes.
might be something that you're aware of.
Sure.
Okay.
But I just want to get opinions on this before I state my stance.
Before you ask it, Vietnam was not declared by Congress as a war, but by all definitions, other than the conflict, it was a war.
Okay.
My question was if we declared it, but thank you. Answer.
So
All
it
right,
was
go
not
ahead.
declared, but
No, it was not declared by Congress, but
Yeah, so it was not declared, but in all
Was it
senses of the
executive
word
order?
war, it was a war.
Right. Okay.
it's complicated. But so we're moving
So
on.
okay, this is a more modern day issue. What
Right.
with the rise of, I guess, neo-Nazism in America.
Uh-huh.
What is your guys' opinion on the tearing down of Confederate monuments?
Okay,
Before I
real-
say, hold
hold
on.
on.
God, everyone's
Hold on,
starting
before we even continue,
Sure.
I think we're gonna need to skip this one because I talked about it on my last podcast.
Did you?
Yeah, we talked about
No, okay.
fascism, the rise of fascism, and
Okay.
neo-Nazis, and we talked about specifically Charlottesville. So I would like to skip this, just so we're not.
Okay, that's not a
doing
problem at all.
redundant information.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Aaron.
What was-
we can
I
talk about it
actually have
outside the
something to talk
podcast.
about.
No, we can talk about it outside the
Yeah,
podcast.
we'll have a nice conversation.
Let's
outside.
go to one of your topics that you have.
We finally do a topic that I've written down.
All
All right. Okay. I'm not sure if I did this for bonus content or if I did it for another podcast, but it's okay. We all
Hold on.
different. What?
Can we talk about flatards or Holocaust deniers?
Let's
I mean,
let's move on
after
from
after
let's
after
move
we
on.
talk about my topic.
I think, okay, I'm just going to put a quick quote on that one. I think
Yeah.
anybody who denies the Holocaust should be hung. Go on.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, let's just move on.
That was a blanket statement. Okay. I think I did this on the very first one just as a demo. But if money didn't matter, what would we be doing?
Oh, nothing. Okay.
Well,
Promise,
straight to the
nothing
point.
will be illegal if money was not a currency.
If money didn't back more
So
to the point I'm trying
let's
to make.
say
if money didn't matter,
if money wasn't a constraint on our life, like if we didn't have to pay rent and buy food, like
Sure.
basically if money
seen The
was
Purge,
not
right?
a thing, what would we be doing?
You've
Yeah.
seen The Purge.
that's like
It's a bit off
complete
topic,
anarchy.
I think.
Yeah,
That's-
anarchy.
That's
You need-
that's
No,
no,
different.
no,
That's
hold on,
different
no,
than
no,
money
Rick
not
and
mattering.
Morty-
That's a
Rick
different
and Morty
topic. So
handled it pretty well.
we're talking about if money. So what I'm guessing you're asking is if money.
So
doesn't
if you
matter,
could live a comfortable life doing
Hold on.
whatever it is,
what
No,
would I do?
what would
You've
you be
all
doing?
actually hit on something that's actually pretty true. Actually, already.
what?
Money, money doesn't matter.
It does.
Oh,
It
Howard.
does.
No.
Okay, hold on.
It's very, it's
Hold on,
very
hold on.
arbitrary.
Hold on. I want to know what Aaron's saying.
Money is arbitrary enough as it is because we've got
We've assigned value to it.
We've moved from gold
Right.
to paper
Right.
to credits almost.
We've assigned value to money.
We've assigned money to something that's actually we've assigned money to diamonds, which aren't even rare. First of all, and then
well, it's
when you have so much money, it makes money. You lend that money. You're basically
you're winning.
You're doubling nothing. You are winning,
Right.
By winning,
but it's
Tiger's blood.
Well, no. So it's just what you're trying to say. So pretty much what you're trying to say is invest.
we've invented something here.
Right. Exactly.
It's not something.
it's a form of
fiat,
currency.
That's what fiat currency is.
I'm
It's
actually,
the
I'm
invented
actually
value.
really interested on if we have extraterrestrial life come into this situation.
Well, obviously
Are they
not.
gonna honor-
They're not going to honor
gonna
our
honor-
dollar bills.
Okay.
They're not. So it's just
So-
we've because big businesses and because large CEOs want money, that money's going to be valuable.
yeah, money has value because of
be assigned value.
Because-
the idea of
because-
scarcity,
Mr.
supply and
Speaking of
demand,
money,
things like that.
If you had like a comfortable amount of money, what would you be doing?
Hold on,
for
real
me?
quick, real quick, Aaron. Because Mr. CEO in China and Mr. CEO in America, they want money. Exchange rates, currency, it's all going to matter. It's
Yep.
never going to go out of.
that's why.
Yeah, never
out
go,
of
money never
perpetual-
goes out of style.
Right. That's
Money
true.
is a universal language. But
Back
to, the
to
topic
what
at
I was
hand,
saying. If
so
if you could live
basically-
comfortably, okay, situation here. Any job / career / thing that you did, you have to spend 8 hours during the day doing something. You'd be allotted money to pay
To live.
rent to
Yeah.
live comfortably. What would you be doing?
Working
I
out.
actually have my.
So
then
you
playing Xbox.
I would.
it has to be like for me, for example, I would do acting. I would want to be an actor. Doing these type of things, podcasts, being kind of in the media / because it's very hard to make it as a comic, and it's very hard to make
Yeah.
it as an actor.
Yes.
So if I could just immediately jump into that, I'd love to do that. That'd be
For me,
amazing.
Yeah, even if you're not making big $1 million bills on it,
Right.
it's
But I
what
can
you
still-
want to do, and you're
right.
living comfortably, and that's
For-
all that
right.
matters.
For me, I've never really cared about money.
Mhm. So you want to do chemistry because you're
No,
Super invested?
Actually, it's the sort of thing that chemistry is a career for me, but it's not my path. It's not what I want to. Like if I had an unlimited amount of money, I would honestly move to Japan and open up a Western style breakfast shop.
really
Yeah,
That's
Wow.
super cool.
I would. Yeah, that's something that, like in my head, because my dad was in restauranting for 40 years plus, and like he's done everything, and I've learned so much from him that, and he's never had the opportunity to have a restaurant, and I feel like this niche group of Western style breakfast where you just have, you can have of course different things, but you have this Western style.
Do you know that if that's already like popular or current in Japan right now?
No,
or?
it's not really.
It's such an untapped market.
Oh god,
Evan, why are you banging on the table?
So you have like westernized foods. You have like omurice, which is like omelet with some sweet rice.
Sure.
You have like these sort of egg stuff, but you never really have like
bacon and eggs. The old 2x2x2 bacon eggs pancakes.
You never have the Western style or the Texas style. You never have biscuits and gravy. You never have
biscuits and gravy,
like,
man.
It's that sort of eclecticism that you would want someone to have.
Tangent, real quick. Okay. Have you guys ever had grits at all?
Oh,
yeah,
I've
had grits.
I've never eaten grits.
They're okay.
They're not.
What are grits?
Never eating grits
like
club.
It's like cornmeal with water.
Is it really?
Shit.
It's I can't remember what it is, but it's a certain type of it's like a byproduct of corn.
It's cornmeal with water. It's shit.
Evan, what would you do?
If I was getting paid to do whatever I wanted and made money off of it, I would. I almost have two answers. But I'm gonna go with
do both.
Okay. First one, music.
Okay.
I'd honestly just like to be able to stay at home and practice my skills and write my own music and do that kind of thing.
Produce albums. Would you want to go on tour?
I mean,
if you legit had the skills and you had an audience, would you want to do the tour life?
Well, see, the thing for me is like I don't want to be like right in the middle center of fame. Like I don't want to be like the next big vocalist or guitarist.
Sure.
Like I just want to be there and be doing my own thing, enjoying what I do. Whether it's, I don't know, drumming, bass, guitar, whatever.
Would you do like a solo thing, or would you be in a band? Or
no, I don't want to do solo.
Would you be there or would you be square?
I'd be
That's
there
an
and
important
square.
question.
That's actually my band name, Be There and Square. And my second thing, and this is probably what I would choose. I'd like to be a radio DJ.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would love to, like, for example.
Hey, you got the face for it.
Like, thanks. Yeah, thank you. I've also been told after working in a call center for a year and a half that I also have the voice for it.
Oh.
But like, for example, like something like the Russ Martin Show.
Okay.
Oh.
Where not only are they, DJing their music, but they're also having, 3 or 4 hour talk show during the day.
Sure.
I'd love to do that.
Okay.
That would, so something like this I'm having a lot of fun doing.
Would you stay in Texas, or would you like go to New York and
No,
I mean,
it's funny.
considering I'm living comfortably, I just pick wherever I want to go. Like I'd probably move to like Portland, Oregon or something.
Oh really? Yeah.
Really, it's funny because
Portland.
I've heard people mention that choice between Texas and New York.
Talking the mic, sweetie.
You have
I'm like
you have like
this.
this.
You're talking, and it's
You have the same kind of opportunities in both places.
You gotta tongue that pop filter, boy.
I don't want you to tongue it.
Make you ruin it.
Because other people are
Ruined it.
What do you mean? Go ahead.
Soiled
Aaron.
it.
No one's ruined
Soiled
it.
it.
All right. Well, Aaron, what would you do?
Yeah. What? So you said you would play games, but you're talking about
No,
like,
I mean
a
actually,
YouTube personality,
if I had thought about it, I'd probably do martial arts.
Oh.
Because
Okay.
I kind of fell in love with when Jackie Chan was just like doing whatever the hell he could with his body.
Yeah.
Like,
what type of
and I'm
martial
wondering
arts?
why certain cultures actually develop that and other cultures don't.
Well, it's
Or
all
like-
about like a mind-body peace, being
Where you're actually one with yourself. You come to terms with like your spirituality, your physicality, and everything.
So would you like
It's
spend the time to develop a new fighting style, or would you just
Probably
like
not.
master Taekwondo
I'd
or something?
probably do the Brazilian one where it's dance.
Capoeira.
That would be really
Capoeira.
awesome.
Capoeira. is
The
awesome.
who's the guy in Tekken who does the
I
dancing
don't
with the
know.
dreadlocks and everything? I always played that character because he could dance and he do this
I
head
actually
spin.
I have an amendment to my answer.
Okay, go ahead.
I actually want to do this later in life, hopefully, as a business that I can run on my own.
Sure.
I'd open up
Oh.
a comic and card shop.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I mean, I
Yeah,
was talking about
like
something that I was hoping
scrap
on
my
doing.
other answers. I'd love to open a board game, comic game.
Okay, and if you're
well, I
talking
mean,
card
even
shop.
realistic.
And not to be the guy who copies Keaton, but when I
Right.
was like 5 years old, I wanted to own a restaurant, and I woke up from a dream like 3 months ago, and I had that epiphany moment where I'm like, I'm remembering the kind of stuff I was talking about as a kid, and I had all these ideas and I wrote them down.
Mm-hmm.
So if I need to make money, probably
but money
will.
doesn't matter.
I mean,
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like the idea, because for now until, I don't know, just an arbitrary number, for the next 20 years, you're going to try and do something within the chemistry industry, right? Or the sciencey medical chemistry industry.
my overall goal as as what it is to find some sort of career path that will take me abroad, mainly to Japan or to Germany.
Okay.
We were actually talking about this earlier about how we were going to talk about this later in the podcast. My one of my hobbies is actually learning languages.
Yeah.
So that's right. Because I asked you if you like Mandarin.
Yeah. So
I was talking about the orange.
I've currently
Totally was.
So I learned French in high school, and I continue learning French through college.
Can you speak fluently?
I can't speak fluently.
Can you understand it, or
I
maybe
can understand it pretty well, but
if you
takes,
PUBG style drop in the middle of France.
I could get my way.
I could get my way through.
Bonjour.
I could get my way to some place that I could speak like English to.
Oh, okay.
I in college I started to learn Dutch as just a little fun thing, which then led to German.
Yeah.
And now I've been learning German for about a year, and recently, starting in the summer, I started learning. I wanted to keep learning languages because I really enjoyed it, so I started learning. Teaching myself how to speak and read Japanese, and that's sort of
That's cool.
yeah.
So this is definitely the whole immersion thing where you need to be there.
Yeah, but that's
you're not getting vocabulary.
that's a big problem. Like you could just wo ist der Markt? Like, where's the market? Like, I can say that, but if it's a sort of thing where you have to hold a conversation is much different. Than
no matter how much you learn, you have to apply it.
Exactly.
In actual conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to drop yourself in.
I'm gonna have to go like airborne style and drop straight into Berlin.
There you go, and just learn the language.
So this
at
is
least
actually
no one can
something
shoot you
that
down.
other people have tackled before me. When I was younger, I'm like, why are there different languages? Why isn't there just like one two
universal
or three?
language? Yeah.
And then someone's like, all
People
right,
tried to do that with
English
Esperanto.
speakers- Oh my god, you just stole it.
Oh, sorry.
English and Latin speakers were like, all right, let's make a language, and Esperanto's out there.
I'm sorry.
What's Esperanto?
It's a clusterfuck of a language.
So it was a language that someone in 1956 tried to invent that had aspects of every single language in the world.
Really?
Yeah, and just try to make it a universal language.
Tried to.
And it just failed.
And it
or?
fucking failed
Yeah,
so
it was
hard.
so bad.
Well, hold on. Was this like an actual initiative?
This was an actual.
Was it
group
government?
This was an actual
government-funded?
group of linguistics professors in
Uh-huh.
the United States who tried to make a language that everyone.
Did they
could
try
speak.
and associate with other countries, or they were just like, oh, U.S. people need
No,
to
this
make
was it was a
Europe.
there was
multi-ethnic.
it was multicultural and had a lot of different languages. So you could try. It was literally you would take aspects from every language and put them into one thing. Except whenever you have that, every language has different aspects of each other.
Yeah, okay.
Especially different verb
There's-
structures,
no,
different grammar structures.
There's different sentence structure. There's
oh
different.
yeah.
Aaron, into the mic,
Colloquialisms.
sweetie.
There's different parts where you can't translate because it's so ingrained
Oh my
in
God.
the language that
There's
it's hard to explain.
it's for this sort of example. Whenever you can say one sentence 3 different ways, and if it was directly translated, it would
mean
so you could say I walked with the park with my friend,
right.
and then in German it would be I walked park to
Yeah.
I walked
Sure.
with my friend to the park. Like it's like
sure,
you have these sort of
you have
things.
different
And
interpretations.
then whenever you're speaking in
translations.
Japanese, it's like I park friend am going to go walk with.
right?
Another funny thing is language is continually evolving, and certain rules that we've used in the past actually don't make any sense now. And there's actually different languages that are all European based that make no sense in any other part of the world, where it's there's a mother tongue somewhere in Europe,
Right.
and the Hungarian language has no ties.
Oh yeah,
There's this one theory that all the Neanderthals went to.
Wait, hold on. Do you pronounce it Neanderthals or Neanderthals?
It's tall. It's tall.
Why do we say Neanderthal?
It's
Really?
German.
No,
It's
no,
German.
it's named. It's based off the.
Neanderthal Valley.
Yeah, it's based off the place it was found. It was Neanderthal.
Well, then why do
okay.
people say Neanderthal?
Because
they're
they're
American
American.
idiots, and it's America.
Wow, I'm really glad I learned that today.
Anyway, so they're thinking.
Man, I was a real Neanderthal.
I
they're
guess I was a
thinking all the
Neanderthal.
Neanderthals went to Basque because there's certain vowels they can't pronounce that would have actually been the same jaw structure.
Oh, interesting.
So they're thinking most of the European Neander DNA is in the Basque now.
They were
the
just
fish?
They're
they were just neandering around Basque.
They're definitely
Wait,
Homo
Basque
sapiens.
as the fish?
No, Basque is in the
country.
It's not really a country.
What
It's
country
the
of
cultural?
Basque?
It's
Okay,
in France.
fish.
It's like
In
It's
France.
It's like part of France.
It's
so
also-
wait, the French are the birthright of Neanderthals?
yeah.
Makes sense.
But yeah, it's
Wait. There's
There's
a try to make the most French noise without making any words.
I'm good.
What do you mean?
Like, try to make the most French noise without using any words in French. Like, yeah, that's everyone ever goes to.
All right, we're moving away from.
See, those are words.
Disclaimer: we are not implying that French people actually sound this way.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I am implying.
We're also
that.
not implying that
Yuval
they
is
know how to
implying
speak.
I
that
hate French.
everybody else is not. Okay, Yuval is.
I hate French people.
He's off the rails.
Even though he's like,
we're gonna
part
have
French.
to end the podcast.
All right, everybody, goodbye.
Pardon me.
Well, it's what? It's 10:40 right now, almost 11. Are you guys cool to keep going,
I'm
or
great.
I'm good. If you got any more topics you want to talk about,
we
sort of had this.
Okay, can we just talk about how? I mean, I'd rather.
Can you
know-
talk to the mic, Aaron? I'm serious. Like,
Okay.
when I'm looking at
All
this,
right,
we
fine.
have like these.
Fine.
These are our wavelengths, and Aaron, your wavelength is like
Fine.
Just boost
Okay.
them.
Can we talk
that. I guess
about?
I could boost him.
I want to know Keaton's perspective on this.
Okay.
Okay. What happened
You're
with
boosted, Aaron.
What
So
happened?
you can yeah.
What happened with
Nano boost.
Hungary and what happened with the Basque? Because
So-
they're two separate languages that have no ties at all, and it's weird.
So there's a very big difference from being I don't know there's a term for it. I don't know it, but it's wanting to learn more languages. There's a very big difference for being a linguist and wanting to learn more languages. I learn languages because I like the grammar structure and I like being able to have a conversation with someone who doesn't speak who speaks that's their native language, and I want to be able to talk to them in that way because it's a very different personality once you start talking to someone like that. It's like every language has basically their own persona. Especially the biggest one is especially Japanese and English, where you have much different feelings of words based on how they're spoken, where it could be the same sentence but it can convey a much different meaning. But
Yeah, isn't there's languages like Japanese that it's about your tone and your
Yeah.
So
your inflection
I'm not
and
talking
stuff.
I'm not talking about tonal stuff. Of course, there's a little. Okay.
like if I go
Okay. So there's a.
Is that
so
different from-
I'm going to
Holy
preface by
shit.
saying I have only been learning Japanese for a very short time, and it takes years to be able to be a
Sure.
master at it. So I really don't know a lot about
Okay.
the Japanese inflections and that sort of stuff. I've only started learning like characters, like the certain characters that you have, the hiragana and katakana.
Hold on, real quick, Aaron. Why do you keep moving the mic? It's at a position, and
I
you're
move
just
the mic away so I can breathe.
you're not Aaron, are you?
Yeah, chocolate rain.
Hey, I'm trying to actually get it so where it's a point where I can talk normally and you don't yell at me.
Oh, you have.
Well,
we
but you just
boosted
need to
it.
talk into the mic. We
Yeah.
boosted
Yelling
it a
at you
little
is
bit.
fun, though.
We did a
Yeah.
little
No,
bit.
it's really not.
But
Maybe
so
for you.
it's so to answer your question. There's a difference between being a linguist and being a linguophile,
Yeah,
and
it
that's
took
what
you
it's called. Being
so
a
long
linguophile,
to
and
say. It took you like 20 minutes to say
okay,
that.
excuse
You
me.
know what, Aaron?
but you know what?
That's okay.
You know what? I try to talk, and then I just hit. I can't do it anymore.
All right. So I was really
I'll try and speak up.
my
Okay.
original major was anthropology because I was so interested about how languages exist, how people groups
Let's
exist,
go to linguistics.
and I was gonna get into linguistics eventually because it's not my strong suit.
Okay.
I do enjoy picking up different things, looking at different perspectives because that's actually something I did as a human being in my own family.
Right,
Because
right.
I'm
Well, then why not
German,
go into
and I'm-
logistics?
and I'm black. So it's like it's different when you have to think from two different lenses, and I was applying that to different cultural groups.
Right.
And when there's this thing in America that everyone knows about. It's called a melting pot. At what point are we going to do that with languages?
Oh,
and
okay.
are we going
Okay.
to? Because I feel like there's a
so-
movement to move towards English and Spanish.
Well, I feel like the majority of
But-
the world speaks English anyways.
no,
Well,
not necessarily, because we still have French speakers in Africa of all places.
So when you're
Because-
talking,
Well, those are so isolated.
It's
no,
not- it's
no,
not
you're not.
isolated. It's
No,
the major
Algeria.
language.
Yeah, it's the major language. Besides, like the major non-African specific language.
Yeah, but how much production do they have in this world?
What do you mean? You're talking
Like production-wise, like
See,
how
this
much do they
is-
contribute to
But this-
global
that's-
GDP?
I'm not talking about global GDP. I'm not an economist. So.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's like you
Oh.
say Algeria and
I wouldn't know.
other
I wouldn't
countries
know.
and stuff like that. How much do they contribute? Like how much are they exporting in terms of
I
how
don't
much?
know.
Well, so then why does it matter? I'm
Okay.
talking
Oh
about
my God.
the big places that export. So
Okay, but let me. So
across Europe, because I
let me-
feel like for the most part, hold on real quick before.
Okay,
before
go
we
ahead, go ahead,
I feel like
yeah.
the most part in Europe and especially in Asia and stuff like that, they have English as a second language. So I mean, if business is done in English, then who gives a crap about countries that
Okay,
aren't
but then they
exporting.
have a secret language where they can just talk shit about anyone. So
Everyone has a
the
secret
point-
language. We have secret codes and
No,
conversations.
I'm
and stuff like
thinking
that all the time.
at what point are we not going to have secret language?
So what you're
always gonna have
basically
secret
so what
languages.
you're basically talking about as a melting pot for languages is actually English because of besides Japan, which steals words from English all the time, like
but they
the
still
word
use-
for, like
like
the word,
what?
they
like
still say English words.
well no they literally just steal like the word for
And
they made
Spanish.
an entire language basically they use an entire language structure katakana just for English words. So like for example taxi is takusi or like milk is miku, like it's like literally that sort of stuff.
Okay.
But
there's also like tortilla. Or something.
yeah, but you
Wait,
have
what is Kool-Aid?
I don't know Kool-Aid. I mean, like
Kool-Aid.
like Kool-Aid. Like you can literally just
That's
basically
really offensive.
no. That's how no.
Says
It's
you.
I'm offended.
No, it's like the way I'm saying is K-U-R-U A-I-D-U. Kool-Aid. Like that's how you're supposed to say it.
That's
Like I
really
wouldn't say it
offensive.
like my name is not Keaton. It's Keaton. Like it's a different
No, it's not.
language.
Okay, hold on. Keep talking, and I'll just hold on. Go ahead. Keep talking. So go ahead from the point that you were going to say.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is like besides from what because I've just been saying Japan, but besides Japan, English steals everything from every languages
Because we're the conquered language.
And yeah, it's the common language.
And now
It's
we're
also
conquerors.
but it's the language that was the melting pot between Germanic and not Latin,
Romance.
but Romance languages, where it was that language that you would have that
Right, so-
like together. So
Keaton, how would you say your name?
it would be. What are you gonna try to do?
How would you say your name? How'd you say your name in Japanese?
Keaton. It's
That actually might be right.
It's KEE-TEN. It's KI dash and then I can
Hold on. It's not playing.
give me a
What we
It's
say
not
about
playing.
phones at
That's
the
not,
beginning?
That's not.
no.
that's
It would
unfortunate.
so my full name would be Watashi wa Baren Keaton desu. So it would be Baren
Oh.
Keaton desu.
Why is it not?
Baren.
Okay, if
Bad
what I found out a little bit ago is if you do Google Translate and then you do the name and then a different language, you'll get the different accents and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Do
And
research.
it was really hilarious doing like French and German and Japanese and stuff like that. So I was gonna
Zeros.
play it, but it's not functioning right now. I don't know why it's making me sad.
Thanks for ruining the podcast.
Yeah, you ruined
I did
it.
ruin the podcast.
You
I'm
ruined
sorry.
it like several times too.
I don't know.
All right, we should move on to another topic, in my opinion. I don't know. Language is cool and all, but Yuval and I don't really have much to say here.
I mean, honestly, the second podcast, I was just listening to John talk about alternate history and stuff like that, and it was really interesting. So I like listening and shit like that.
Oh,
so-
can we talk about like
No.
history from the loser's perspective?
No.
No. What else is on your list of topics,
A
Yuval?
sad day in Aaron Land. Give me a second. Let's look. Keaton, what are you doing on your phone?
What are we doing? Oh, I'm sending you something.
Sending something? How?
There's this guy you should probably follow on
Can you give me my
YouTube,
phone?
Keaton.
No.
Please.
No.
Sorry, what?
There's this guy on YouTube.
Tell me
who's
that you love me.
phenomenal.
Love you.
I should probably recommend it to you. I'm not remember what his
All right,
name
okay.
is, but you should definitely follow him. It's like he walks.
That's
he
like,
walks
hey, there's
you-
a book that I want you to read, but I don't know what the book's name is.
All right, I'll find it. God,
Why are we all on our phones?
because we're looking up stuff.
You know what? This did not. How much is it at?
14, that's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Do you want me to try and... Okay. I'm sorry. I feel like a horrible person now.
I mean, I hate you,
Uh-huh.
but you're fine.
Okay. So everyone got a smartphone when? When did we all get smartphones?
I got
Seventh
this
grade.
phone. I got this phone 3 months ago.
I actually used
Would-
a Go phone up until 12th grade.
ninth grade.
Really?
Ninth grade.
I
I had a little tiny white with the keyboard was about this big.
Was it like a BlackBerry or whatever?
No, it was literally it was about this big. About this tall.
Blackberry molasses.
The keyboard was about this tall.
Oh wow.
Oh,
That way.
native lang.
Okay.
Native Lang. Oh yeah, I've watched them.
Yeah.
I've watched that show.
All right. And so you
Um,
had that up until 12th grade, and then you got on a smartphone.
Uh-huh.
All right. What about you, Keaton?
I stayed with the Samsung, a Samsung tactile touch phone. It was before the Galaxy
Nice.
ever came out. Up until 11th grade, whenever it finally broke,
Uh-huh.
and then I got my Samsung Galaxy S3,
Mm-hmm.
I had an S3 as well.
which finally broke freshman year,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had an LG G3,
Mm-hmm.
which broke about 3 months ago,
And then you got.
and I got the LG G6.
How do you
oh,
like
is
it?
the G6 nice?
I like it a lot.
That's good.
I mean, it's a huge upgrade from the G3 because it has fingerprints on the fingerprint scanning on the back,
Mhm.
a nice screen, a lot better processing power,
Sure.
that sort of stuff.
Sure. Okay. So, do you find yourself like, were you sticking with just like the LG because you like the LG, or are you a connoisseur of?
I got it because LG is I haven't had it. I've never had a bad experience with my G3 up until the end. Whenever not kidding, a Amber Alert breaks my phone.
Wow. How does an Amber Alert break your phone?
That's a good question, isn't it?
Did it vibrate off and go in the toilet?
Oh no! I clicked it and then it turned off and it never turned back on.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
that's hilarious. And then Aaron, you had an iPhone. When did you get your iPhone?
I got it in 9th grade. I was one of the only people that didn't have a lock on it, so I got made fun of. For
what do you mean a lock?
Like a lock, a passcode.
Why didn't you have a passcode?
I didn't care.
Well, so anyone could take your phone and just like start sending random text messages to girls and stuff. You weren't worried about that?
I mean, after they told me about it, I did it, but I'm like, I don't see any point because no one uses my phone but me.
Okay. Because I know you had a Razor for a while.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you had a
Juke. Let's talk about. I have the biggest hands I've ever seen, and I had the smallest phone on the market.
He had the Juke. Do you guys remember the Juke?
The Juke.
No, I don't.
The commercial. The "Watch me move like my Juke." Watch me move like my Juke.
No
it was like this.
No.
It was this tiny little red little, almost like a one of those like a flip knife.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever.
Like a switchblade.
A switchblade. Sorry, I'm saying flip knife. Whatever. Switchblade. And so it would flip out like this. It would flip out like this.
Kind of
and
like
it's
a
just
flip
this-
knife.
Yeah, kind of like a flip knife.
Okay.
And
Or a
then-
switchblade.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just remember he had it, and Aaron's a pretty big guy, and he's got these monster hands and stuff like that, and so it's just it was kind of.
Oh, can we talk about how Yuval would always like poo-poo my ideas? Like one time, I had my headset, and I wanted to use it in the Xbox Live controller.
So Aaron
and it
would
works.
always like do these dumb
And it
ideas,
works.
and they're not practical. I don't know. Aaron was just a butthead, and I was a butthead. We're all buttheads as kids.
Everyone's
Yeah.
butthead.
But then, okay, one of them
That's true.
actually was pretty stupid. I wanted to use the drum set to play Halo.
Yeah.
One of them.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know at least the Guitar Hero one, the drum. Do you guys remember Guitar Hero
Yeah.
World Tour,
Yeah.
where it was
Yeah.
the first time they did drums?
Or in symbols.
So yeah, it had built-in cymbals. So I think one of my friends used that to play Rainbow Six Vegas 2.
Holy
And
that's
it kind of
cool.
actually works. So and so he'd be like doing the cymbals or whatever to like fire his gun or something. I don't know.
I love the amount of weird controller setups people do. Like, for
yeah.
example, like watching someone beat Dark Souls with the fucking Guitar
Wait.
Hero controller.
Oh, yeah, no,
Hold
no,
on,
someone
hold
made
on.
Dark
Have
Souls
you
with
seen
DDR.
that one?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
beautiful.
with a
The
Yeah,
drum
it's
set.
crazy.
Someone made a drum set to play through the Fire and the Flames. So like he just it's like the guitar part, but then he's like strumming on each one.
Yep.
It was
Oh,
actually
that's interesting.
actually possible. I'm like
That's a bit crazy.
I can 100% through the Fire and Flames
bullshit.
do it.
I'm just curious what's on your
Oh
list.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. A lot of these topics, I think I mentioned them before. So, if you see something, I can either shoot it down. I'm not really thinking. Because the main premise is I want to just kind of. I like when we have natural conversations devolve into whatever other topics, debate, whatever it is.
I like this one.
What? Which one is it?
So you
I
had
was
a
gonna actually mention
you had one of your
Like
topics
growing
that you
up in
have on
smaller
there.
groups.
Yeah, is great. Is there a difference that you feel that you had, because I'm guessing all of us grew up in an AP advanced placement
Nope.
classes. No.
What? You didn't?
I was not an AP guy. I took I took 2 AP classes through the entirety of high school.
Well, what about like in middle school? Were you an honors kid or a regular kid?
I was in honors and English, and that was it.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
so this is a good question,
Yeah,
because
that's why I thought it was a good
because
topic.
I was the complete opposite from middle school up until high school. I was in all advanced placement classes.
yeah, same here.
And if I wasn't in one, it was because it was not correct, and I felt, in my personal opinion, I felt that I wasn't getting the same teaching that I was with advanced placement. And I was wondering
That's
if you
how I
felt
felt
like
with
you had a different mindset
Experience.
on that. Yeah, different experience.
or like
I
how?
feel like you had a better social experience.
Well,
Well-
not even that. Just real quick before Evan, you
Yeah,
answer,
no, you're good.
we did cover just a little bit, and I'm already talking about this a little more. So I felt like for the most part, if you were in the honors group or in a regular group, you kind of stuck with the same kids.
Yeah.
you grew
Yes,
as
exactly.
middle school and high school. You kind of
I always had the same like 5 people in my class.
exactly. So, and I feel like, and I don't know that indirectly through the school system that was able to do that, but and I'd like to know what since you've had a more expanded experience of this. For me, whenever I was doing, because again, like with Keaton, I did AP and pre-AP, whatever it is, and then for my senior year, I was just in regular English, and it was a total different
Was it
scene.
really?
It was like. And and again, I'm not trying to, and I prefaced this before.
Bash. You're not trying.
I'm not trying to bash anyone or this self-righteous. I'm smarter than anyone.
Yeah, of course, of course.
But it was definitely the mindset and the attitude that the people had, at least in English. I don't know if it was different in math or science or whatever, but in English, it was totally taken back like 7 steps where people showed up and my teacher, she had to pick on people to answer and stuff like that.
So before you start saying, because I was in a single non-AP class for only a very short time in my high school years, and it was an economics class, and it really, to my point, it felt like I was not learning. Moreover, I was just being spoon-fed information, which what I felt was very different between AP, and that actually I felt helped me a lot in college because I had to learn for myself. Yeah. So now I want to hear your opinion. What you felt like.
The whole world wants to know. Evan, how was your
whenever
school?
You had regular classes, because this was sort of a thing that I never experienced.
Yeah. Well, I mean, frankly, I've never been one to. I don't think it's because I don't have the brain to take on all honors and AP classes. Like whenever I would like I took a couple AP classes, and as far as essays and tests would go, my main problem was that I was an underachiever. Okay. So it was more of a lack of motivation to actually participate in that higher level of learning per se. And I mean, just frankly, in my opinion, I think I actually did end up learning better habits in regular classes just for the simple fact of the teachers were worse. Right. I had to do more of my own work.
Okay. It was put on yourself more.
You had to.
There was more independence because with the exception of English class was the only thing I was ever actually doing honors for, and I took AP World History and AP Music Theory. AP World History, I did fine on actual grades and just kind of blew the AP test off because I was an idiot. And then AP Music Theory was the only AP/honors class where I really got to flourish, because that was my big thing in high school. Was I was just obsessed with band. Okay. And I guess you could count. Yeah, and I guess you could count band as being another honors type deal in this situation, because from 9th through 12th grade I was always first chair in the highest band.
Yeah, sure.
I guess that counts in this scenario. But really, when it comes to regulars classes, as far as the Plano school system is concerned, or this area of where we live, where it's a high middle class area,
sure,
you kind of get 2 big groups of people from what I've seen, and that's kind of where the divide between the AP classes and the regular classes are. For the AP classes, you have all the people who have, frankly, smarter parents who know that if their kids take these classes and do these tests, they'll have an easier time in college because they have credits. Sure. And that's a really good point. That does make a lot of sense. For example,
I'm a product of it.
Yeah, you got through college in 3 years?
Yeah,
3.5-ish.
Right. Well, technically, 3 years, because I was, let's see, because after the spring I took 2 classes, or I took my 2 capstones in the summer, and I should have had another fall and spring semester. So yeah, I graduated a year early.
Yeah, so you're a perfect example of this, being that you took all these AP classes, you fought through the excessive amount of homework and studying and whatever it takes to pass those AP tests. And because of it, whereas most people graduate in 4.5 or 5 years, you graduated a year early.
Right.
So
and more Amber's graduating in 4 years.
That's kind of the poster child of one group here. Whereas with the other group, you kind of have that differential where they live in a middle class area, or they go to a middle class school, but they don't quite understand or want to understand the value of education.
Yep.
And
did you see that in all classroom?
Not all.
Okay.
I mean,
there was a clear divide between the ones who were there because they wanted to learn and the ones that were there because they had to. Absolutely. You would. And there was also a clear divide in the same thing for AP classes. I could go into an AP class and there would be maybe 15 students who you could tell, or not even 15. Let's call it a 50-50. Yeah.
Let's say 20 person class, 10 students who actually, you can tell, want to learn the material.
Sure.
And 10 students who are just here to regurgitate it because their parents said, "Hey, you need to pass this."
Yeah, no, that's
so that I can save money sending you to college.
Yeah,
sure.
And it's either way,
right?
If you're in that AP class and you don't end up changing within the first 3 weeks, it's because you have some kind of drive to do well in.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas with the regulars class, you're literally
You're
in
stuck.
it because you are required to go to high school, or
Yeah.
not high school, but you are required to have public
GED.
schooling in this country.
Right.
Right.
And it's that because you were talking about how there's some that are just there because they have to be there. That's
Yeah.
It's not. That's absolutely not just regular classes.
No, absolutely.
Because
not.
there are a lot of where we're from. It's Plano, which is a very mixed neighborhood where there's a lot of Asian American families, and they have a very
Man,
high.
always going with the race, dude.
Well,
I'm
they
just
have
kidding, I'm just
they
kidding.
have an extremely high.
Bar.
I would say bar, but that doesn't seem like the right word. So I've lived mainly only with Korean family, like first generation Korean families who I'm now living like with the people, and they're always like the only thing that my parents care about is A's and becoming a doctor and being successful.
That's the-
Like so. You will be in the best classes, no matter if you
Sure.
even if you are not the smartest person,
You're
you
still
will be
gonna
in that class.
Try and set up to have
They
that
still-
platform
yeah.
to.
Yeah,
jump
So
off
it's
of.
that sort of the split where you have those groups where it's like I'm here because my mom put me in here and I don't want to do it.
And I have a great example of this.
Okay.
I'm not going to disclose first or last name on this.
Okay.
Okay.
But there was a
Make up a
person,
name.
Tom Watts.
John Doe.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a
I
horrible name.
Dude,
yeah,
why are you
I-
calling out John, man?
I'm sorry, John.
Jeez,
This
John.
isn't against you, John Doe. You're a really good friend of mine, but I gotta tell
Go
the
ahead.
truth.
Drop it.
So John Doe comes from one of these Asian American families that we're speaking of right now.
Mhm.
Really nice
John
guy,
Doe.
really smart guy, extremely talented clarinet player. I knew him through
Okay.
band.
Sure.
Oh
He
yeah.
was no, it's
Yeah,
not.
it
You're
is.
thinking of.
Okay.
He was, or it might be, but it's not. You didn't go to school with him.
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
who you're thinking of.
That's fine. He for his 11th and 12th grade, he was first chair All-State,
Mhm.
meaning he was the best clarinet player in the state of Texas for his age.
Wow. Okay.
Along with that, coasting through perfect A's, all of his classes. Along with that, still managed to have a social life and do extracurriculars such as GDYO
Is
and
it
things
who
like
I
that.
think it is?
It may be.
Don't let's keep
leave
going.
it
Yeah,
out.
well, I'll
Okay.
tell you after.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because his family, as far as I know, were not very well off.
Mhm.
They run one of those donut shops that you see around that are
Oh.
typically
My-
run
my-
by Asian American
My
families.
roommate also, yeah.
Aaron, why
it's
do you
the
gotta
same
hit the
thing.
table?
My roommate's family owns a donut.
Yeah, and obviously I'm not trying to put any racial things.
No, of
into
course
this.
not.
It's observation.
Just spew it out, bro.
Yeah, okay, right. It's just observation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Typically, if you go to a shop that has a sign that just says donuts on it, it's usually an Asian American family, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It's the
I mean, you go to
shoe
Frisco, and
that
that's
fit. It's a shoe
exactly
that-
what
yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
Or
you Frisco, Plano, Richardson, McKinney,
yeah.
everywhere
You
around
have
here.
that. It's like someone set a precedent, and now everyone is following that precedent because
Yes.
it's the easiest thing to do.
Yes, so his family
Not easy,
ran
most successful.
one of those donut shops. So they were a relatively low income family
Mhm.
because those are decent business, but they don't make ton of profit. It's a donut
Sure.
shop.
Yeah.
So what's the point of this? You brought up this guy, so what's the point?
Yeah,
of
dude got a full ride to Harvard.
Oh,
Nice.
Full ride.
Wow.
Absolutely full ride.
really? Wow.
So
But
that's-
so like, what's he doing still though?
I don't know. I haven't looked into that recently. I haven't talked to him since I graduated.
Okay,
He's
because
actually
I
a year
also
above
have
me.
a friend named John Doe. Who
Oh,
was,
wow.
Who was in the same? He was my year's valedictorian. He was also
Yeah.
No, he was also he played an instrument as well. He played bassoon, and he had that sort of thing where it was he was the person who he was first in everything, and he got a full ride to Harvard too. But it's the
Did
sort
you
of
go to
thing where
Clark?
I don't remember
I don't
where he
think
went.
did.
I
He
don't
went to
remember
John Doe school.
He went
okay.
he went to John Doe Seminary. No, it's that sort of thing where I have talked with him in the future,
Yeah.
and it's the sort of thing where it's like to him, his life in Harvard is making connections and basically living the childhood that he didn't have because he spent
Yes.
all the time studying.
Exactly, and I was gonna drag this back around to the original topic of regs versus AP and honor.
Okay.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because I know I did tangent off pretty hard there.
It's okay.
But-
Tangents are good.
That was just my example of
Derivatives.
someone who, I guess, as far as he put in the most effort possible. He
Yeah,
did
and
the
he
best
got it.
job he could, and he achieved. Obviously, I mean,
Yeah.
he got a full ride to Harvard, completely paid. He definitely achieved.
Right.
But with
a lot of
that,
Americans wouldn't do that.
being in if he did the same thing in regular classes, do you think he would have had the same opportunities made available to him?
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
I
If
mean,
he-
So,
if he
so
still had
let's
a
say
four-
it's the exact
What's
same
his GPA?
scenario.
What's his GPA both ways?
He was 4.0 either way.
Okay, 4.0.
Yeah, so
I don't know.
it's a sort of thing that it just depends on the type of class that you have. Like there's some that you can absolutely thrive with in regular classes and be perfectly fine. But if you have someone who is above you who is taking all honors classes,
Well, I think there was also we have to consider that split where there are kids doing reg doing A's all the way. They're making 95s, 100s, and stuff like that, and they've got a stellar GPA.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
And
Right.
at least in Centennial, there was a chunk of people where they would take just AP classes to GPA boost and just to
Yeah.
take to if they did crap one year
For the
or
college
something like
apps,
that.
yeah.
Exactly. So I think so correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
From my understanding, I think you have that same split where in a regs class you have those kids that are there and
Yes,
they're-
they were almost outliers
Uh-huh.
from my experience. But like for example, in 12, because I've never been a math guy, so 12th grade is where I actually was taking. Let's see.
pre-cal.
Pre-cal, yes, pre-cal. So yeah, I was always behind on the math curve. So like,
Uh-huh.
whereas my current roommate was doing pre-cal in 7th grade,
Sure.
I was
Yeah.
doing it in 12th, and that's
Doing
fine.
ninth.
Or
That's
you
fine.
do it 10th
That's
or 11th grade. That's what it's
insane.
Yeah,
He's doing
Oh,
it
sorry, it
in
was 11th.
7th grade.
Yeah, he was actually
No,
doing
it
like
was
that
10th.
program where they like bust
Sure,
you to
sure,
another
sure,
school
sure.
for it.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, but it's like, what was I on? Oh my gosh.
You're talking about
in that pre-cal class, there would be maybe 3 or 4 kids that were
There for it.
ridiculously quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they were very like obviously they should be in a higher class,
Uh-huh.
but then you think about it and it's like they may not have the work ethic to take on a bigger load than this,
Mhm.
and they may just be doing this to pad their GPA for college.
Sure.
Which is fine because if you're not trying to go to an Ivy League school, like if you just want to go to UT or something like that,
Uh-huh.
or I guess another big name university,
just top 5%. That's all you need.
yeah, exactly. All you don't need to have all the AP credits, be in all the honors classes.
That's true.
You just
You
need to
don't.
be
You
a
just
good
have a good
student who
GPA.
can write a good essay.
Yeah,
Right.
it's very.
That's-
I
very
mean, that's
true.
really
Very
what
true.
it comes down to. And like, I always felt like there was kind of a very small, almost invisible stigma when it came to honors versus regs.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It's a
Where,
there's
like,
always,
yeah,
it's
where,
just
like-
it's almost like some
And-
people feel inferiority.
Yeah, it's some people in the regs classes feel inferior because they may not be as bright as people that are in honors, and some people in the honors classes have a superiority complex
Yep.
where they're like, "Oh, I'm in honors or I'm
Yeah.
in AP, I'm a genius, and I'm in 11th
and-
grade." And
and-
it's like you're not.
Yeah,
like,
and can I just say that it doesn't matter if you're in honors or if you're in regulars. It's like in high school doesn't fucking matter in the
Okay.
later.
oh,
in life.
absolutely not. And I mean,
Keaton, I
just-
don't know if you ever felt it, but IB was like that to an extreme.
Oh yeah. So there was another.
Oh,
there
I
was-
forgot you
there
were
was
both
a-
in IB.
There was I was an IB. I was an AP person, but there was another program
You were
called
IB, correct?
IB
Real-
called
okay.
International Baccalaureate. But
Real quick, I was actually those part in the grand scheme of things. That was part of the reason why we actually moved to Frisco is because my parents, they wanted to move and they weren't just sure, stay within Plano, stay within Allen, stay within a school district. And because I didn't want to do IB when push came to shove, sure I was in the honors classes. And my dad was just one night he was like, "Look, do you want to do IB? Do you want to take this extra step and go there?" And I just said no.
Yeah.
I think that would be too difficult for
It
me
was.
or
It's too
whatever it is.
It's too
And
difficult,
so-
and
It
it
really
doesn't,
is. It's
doesn't
not
have
worth
any.
it.
People say like, "Oh, but you could go international." No, you
No,
can't.
you can't.
Right.
It makes no fucking difference. And it's AP with more work, same credits.
Yeah.
do you think it was worth your time?
No,
No,
not at all.
Okay.
IH probably was because I actually got like international
And what's-
version
and
of
what's IH?
English.
International honor,
International honors.
I've never. I've
It's,
never
it's
heard
the
of that.
same as AP, pre-AP.
Oh, okay.
But that gave me a really good English base, and it gave me like a world literature base. We read Arabian Nights, The Count of Monte Cristo,
Okay.
both 2,000-page books, and I got that instead of different required reading.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it wasn't worth it.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
And just a final little tidbit on the regs versus honors thing from my perspective. Frankly, I personally, being in regs classes did not change my college experience at all.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
main reasoning for
worse.
this
Mine's
would be
pretty bad.
because I originally did start as a music major. So at that point, my
You're kind of
GPA didn't really matter.
sure. It was just
Because,
the,
yeah.
the skill of
It's
your instrument.
audition at that point.
Right.
At
Yeah.
that point, it's as long as
you
can
had to have a GPA to get accepted.
Yeah,
to at least
yeah.
have
As
the
long
min.
I believe the GPA I had to have to be accepted into the music program was 2.5.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
So like that's
yeah.
like literally 70s and everything. Like
And-
that
yeah.
is ridiculously easy to hit.
Yeah.
And so frankly, for my experience, being in regs classes didn't make a difference for me because whether I was in regs classes, honors, or AP,
You're still
I
going.
don't think
for
it would have.
music.
I don't think it would have affected my
Right.
my work ethic when I got to college. Like frankly, you know, I did drop out for the time being, and I don't think being in any higher class would have changed that.
Right. And
Okay.
so to
And
give,
frankly, I think
yeah.
it would have made it worse.
And to give
I
my
gotta say,
sorry, you go ahead.
my
man.
college experience is nothing but ideal, or nothing close to ideal anymore. OU was actually fun, but I didn't do
Aaron,
well.
into the mic, please.
So, the way you're thinking, what you're talking about, you were in regs, and then you're basically at a pretty averagely good college, and I'm not. So I'm wondering.
I mean, I'm not at it now.
So
I'm wondering at what point did I go wrong, or what point am I?
Well, I think you know, again, hindsight's 50-50, and
Yeah.
it
Right.
just
So-
it takes
hindsight's
a lot of
one
self
because
really,
criticism and
there's-
What I'm
self-analysis.
doing is going from Colin to someplace else.
yeah.
right.
Yeah, my basics,
and that's
but
perfectly. You didn't.
Yeah.
You haven't done anything
There's-
wrong.
so
That's
there's- so to
perfectly
give-
fine.
I hate it. Though.
So to give my sort of final
That's
thoughts
life.
was
I mean, that's
yeah.
and you know,
That's
like
life,
frankly,
unfortunately,
like people may shit on Colin College,
I'm going
but-
to my entire life.
and that's fine. You can shit
I-
on it all you like, but when you look at it, at the end of the day, you can get your associate's degree for less than
Yeah,
$2,000.
Sure.
So-
No, of
And
course.
that right
Yeah.
there is great.
But
And
here-
because your
Keaton-
associates has nothing to do with your actual major. So once you figure out what you're doing and where you want to do it, you get your associates and you move on from there. And as long as
Exactly.
your GPA at Colin was fine, you shouldn't have any issues.
right, and I think that's
And you can even
another
do that
found-
with a GED. Like high school doesn't matter.
Oh my god.
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So,
to a
okay,
certain
so,
extent.
yeah,
To
let's-
a certain
no,
extent,
let's
yes.
wrap up.
Let's talk about
let's wrap up this.
Well, real quick, we'll give Keaton his thing,
Yes.
and I think we're gonna wrap up the podcast just for tonight.
Sure.
But yeah, go ahead.
So just to give my quick little like final thoughts about the sort of difference that there is between honors and stuff. I started out as a CS major and then I switched to chemistry, and I was computer science. Yes, and I was
it's actually castrating
seals.
I thought you said
Seals.
cis male.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I was castrating seals as a
White
major.
cis male.
No, but I was doing computer science because I wanted to do it for money mainly.
Sure.
It's a sort of job security thing, and
Yeah, really,
I was
agreed.
extremely close to dropping out because I was in honors classes. I did not have the same. I felt like I had a good study base, but I didn't. It was a different type of studying, and I realized that, you know, after I switched my majors a year and a half in, that I would that once I switched to chemistry and I switched to that sort of position, I was very thriving because it was the sort of thing that I was not only familiar with, but I also had a bit of an affinity for. But
Okay.
it was the type of studying where it's like, you need to study for yourself. This isn't any innovation sort of stuff. You have the information right
Sure.
in front of you. Use it.
Yeah.
And it was that sort. It's the different types of learning that people have that I feel like is like, whether it be regulars or honors, it's the way that you learn yourself is like how you will fare in college.
Yeah, exactly. It's on your experience and what you do with what you're provided. And I do just have one last question real quick. This should not take too long to answer.
Okay.
It's going to take 3 hours.
No, it's
One
fine.
one final
Okay,
question.
So, this is just a question regarding college at this point.
Okay.
We'll go
So
around the horn
in-
for this, I guess.
Yes, of course. I will start with Keaton whenever
Okay.
whenever I get this out here. In this day and age,
But hold on, let me interrupt you.
Sure.
Just kidding.
Okay. And
So actually, hang on. So-
awesome, sweet. So in this day and age where technology is so readily available, and with the time and work ethic, you can learn yourself in any subject in the world. Do you guys think college is necessary?
Yes.
Okay, have you
No.
seen the MIT challenge where
No.
it's basically you can get an MIT equivalent degree at a community college or even studying on your own, and they give you all these free opportunities, all these free
Into the mic,
resources. Basically, you get a computer or an engineering degree basically for free.
Well,
And they show you all these ways to do it. And it's like incredible that it's possible with all this, with all the free libraries, the meta databases of
to pair,
textbooks.
to parallel off what you're saying, Aaron, yeah, I completely agree with him. Is in terms of online courses and the skills and tools.
I mean, even what you can just find for free.
Well, you see,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think there is ever an equivalent for college. There are college.
Well, so then to rephrase what he's saying in terms of
Should
should everybody go to college?
No, I don't. I've never thought
Is that kind
anyone
of in the same.
Basically what I was kind of getting at with that question is So let's say I'm going to an interview for a job, and I want to work for Apple as a app developer.
Sure.
Okay.
Right.
Just off the wall. Now, if you are the interviewer and you're looking at my resume and you're comparing it to Joe Schmo's resume right next to it, and you see on my resume that I have, let's say 5 years experience, no degree, and I'm self-taught in all of this app developing software, and you look at Joe Schmo's degree and he has half the experience, but he has a college degree, what would you pick?
College degree.
No, I would definitely go for the self-taught.
It
depends because when you're at that higher level and you're at that higher tier of reliability and knowledge base and all of that kind of stuff, it's really a mixture because I not necessarily have interviewed for Apple or whatever, but at the higher level positions, I've talked to recruiters and actually managers within the industry, and they say they're going to put you through tests. So they'll say oh, Mr. Joe Schmo degree. Okay, well, how much? They're literally rapid fire questions of what do you know? What do you? Logic testing. Aptitude, essentially just an aptitude test.
Yeah.
And the college degree will place you at a higher tier. Maybe
it basically raises the bar for you already. Like if you don't have a college degree, you're starting at 50% chance of being hired.
Sure.
If you have the degree, you're bumped up to 7.
So
and from there, it's your experience, what you've learned, your interview,
so
everything else.
Coming from a chemistry standpoint. College, because it's my standpoint, and college is basically required because you need to have that knowledge base before you even get to becoming like a lab technician or something. Because I'm UTD is very lucky in the fact that a chemistry student is required to have a years of lab experience, which is a perfect thing to put on a resume to show that you have a degree and you've been in a lab, so you know what you're doing. It isn't just classes; it's actual wet work.
I think if you're pursuing any career that revolves around STEM, the science, technology, engineering,
That's
mathematics,
what I was about to say.
definitely.
Oh yeah,
college.
So let's say then. Yeah, I'm sorry. Finish that thought.
No, I was just saying. College is important.
Yeah. So do you think maybe? So in this example of an app developer, do you think at that point college is completely necessary? Because you can learn all of this online if you just put in the time and the research.
It's hard to say because you could go to an amazing college and get a degree and only get maybe a year of internship experience, or you could work for 6 years self-teaching years, like being self-taught, and it could be either the exact same teaching that you've had on either side, or it would be vastly different because it really is a person-to-person base whenever you're talking about experience. Because let's say, for example, I have 5 years of lab experience. If I go with someone who has a master's degree and they have a year of lab experience or something like that, it's very hard to determine who is going to be better as that person for that part of the job.
I think with the example of the app developer, you give them an application that you said, hey, I made this, I developed it. They look at the code, they look at the syntax and everything like that.
Yeah, and I think
it's really job dependent.
Yeah, and
on whether or not college is required.
And the lab based of that is papers. Having like for example, I have a published paper based on my research. So it's so like that is exactly the same as writing an app.
I have a blog.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice. And he also has a podcast.
Yeah. And speaking of the podcast,
to just to wrap up that final thought on that subject, I really think that whether or not college is required for a specific job is completely dependent on what that job is. Like if you're looking to go become a mathematics professor, you probably need to go to college. If you're looking to go, I don't know, become an auto technician and you've been working on cars all your life, then you probably don't need it. I mean, that's more of a trade school thing anyway, but I digress.
There's also a trade-off between who they're going to hire and how much do they have to pay.
That is true.
Yeah, because it's like, if they might actually go for the guy who doesn't have a college degree so they can pay them less.
That's true. Actually, not a bad point at all. And but I think if we get into this, we're going to keep.
Yeah, so I think we should probably.
We'll save our progress. Save our progress.
We should probably wrap it up.
But real quick, what I want to start doing is just a quick yes, no, whatever opinion questions.
Sure. No explanation. Just say yes or no.
Okay. Aaron, indoor or outdoor sports?
Okay.
Yes or no?
If you've ever been,
no, one or the other.
Oh my god!
Let me do it.
You just destroyed it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
If you've ever been to a college volleyball team, you'll know why I say indoor.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Outdoor.
Outdoor.
And I will go with outdoor myself.
Have you seen volleyball?
There's outdoor
Doesn't matter.
volleyball. Beach volleyball is good.
Football,
Sand
rugby,
volleyball's
Sand
the
volleyball.
best.
There you go.
Australian football.
But yeah, anyways, that's the end of the One More Podcast, guys. I really appreciate making it all the way to the end. Hopefully, we didn't kill too many brain cells.
Brain stems.
Brain stems.
Thank you for inviting me, Evil.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I would love to come back.
Start getting in the rigor more of this and try and
We're
find a
all
better
shaking
schedule.
hands.
The
Yeah,
Rick and
we're
Morty.
now shaking hands across the
Yeah.
table.
The Rick and
Yes,
Mortiers.
yes.
Yeah, we did that already.
But yeah, I really appreciate it, guys, and hope you guys have a good night.
Thank you for watching.
Like, comment, and subscribe below.
Yeah, please subscribe.